Hello, live stream. Probably no one there yet. Maybe someone will watch this back later. So I'm saying hello. I'm just skewering a cherry. That looks Sordo maraschino cherry. My favorite. Let me just stir my first drink for the evening while I wait for people to arrive. Hey, honey, how you going? Cheers, buddy. My drink looks just black as my soul. It's actually very dark purple. Kind of looks black though. It's a fruity rum punch, and it's very good. I have a clarified version of it too, which is also very good. I'm going to do my button up, show off my shirt a bit more. There we go. That's nice. Looking respectable. You've been doing a bit of Dali. It's a fun way to spend a little bit of time messing about with the creation of the images. It's interesting how quickly those things, I suppose they've been around a year or so. I don't know how long they've been around. I think the first one I saw was just called Dream by Wombo, which is still around. But its initial stuff was very abstract. It was extremely abstract. And now, I suppose say realistic might be the wrong word, but some of them do actually produce quite realistic stuff. And as has been pointed out by multiple people, they aren't really creating things. They're scraping the web for examples of the work of humans. Oh God, I just realizing how tangled up this is. Cables here all over the place. Maybe if I do that, it's a bit better. Sorry, I just had cables all tangling with one another here. Yeah, that's a good one, Heine. Helps exercising the artsy side of your brain. You're best with technical stuff, so that's good. I mean, I know people who are really good with image manipulation tools, Photoshop and whatnot. They've used one of those engines as the starting point for an image, and then they've gone off and tweaked it in Photoshop so it's more like what they want. It's fun to play with. Justin agreed. Octopuses are extremely intelligent, freakishly intelligent. I think the overwhelming majority of the human population does not understand just how intelligent octopuses are. They're very good problem solvers. They also have super weird physical attributes. You see different things different octopuses, octopi can do. They can squeeze themselves through a tiny hole that it doesn't seem possible they should be able to do it, but they can. And they do that. I don't think all octopuses or cuttlefish, or I'm grouping cephalopods together a bit there. But the ones that can camouflage instantly, like when you see a video of one of them doing its instant camouflage thing, you'd swear it was fake. It just doesn't look real, what they do. And yes, Justin, they, again, brains, look, I'm not an expert. But yeah, it's kind of like they have brains in their legs or something. Um, I'm not sure it maps exactly to the human concept of a brain because I'm not an experiment. Oh yeah, no, but Heine, there's a few stories about that with an octopus in an aquarium facility was capable of escaping from its own tank, climbing across, getting into another tank and eating all the fish and then climbing back. And so no one could work out why the fish were disappearing. There's one funny story uh, I read. Someone in the aquarium had fed the octopus some shrimp, like they were dead shrimp, fed to the octopus. They're sitting at their desk and it was really squelching noise. The octopus had climbed up and brought out one of the shrimp was off, and the octopus just sort of slithered up to the guy and threw the off prawn at him, like, fuck you, dude. Yeah, that's what I understand too, Justin. The main brain tells other brains to do something. Brain works how to do it. Yeah, and the auxiliary brains to that extent work independently. Um, yes, I'm sure there's all sorts of minutiae to that. But yeah, obviously, functionally, that's totally different to how humans operate. So it would be interesting to get someone who is actually an expert in that to explain, the brain and the brains in the octopus. Is it like literal straight down the line? Yes, that's another brain, or again, it's we live in a strange and mysterious world, and particularly the ocean is full of weird shit. Full of weird shit we are yet to discover, in fact. So, you get anything could be down there. The stuff that lives at different pressures, stuff that lives in darkness. So they have completely different sensory perception to us. Uh, they're very weird alien life forms down there, is what I'm saying. And best be careful. Don't turn your back on the ocean. Could be anything in there just waiting to come out. So fairly warned be ye. The ocean is a strange, mysterious, and dangerous place. And actually, speaking of strange, mysterious, and dangerous, we might be getting an AIDSy tonight. He did message me saying he wants to join, but he's not actually home at the moment. So that means there's about 101 impediments between potential AIDSy being on the stream and actual AIDSy being on the stream. At the moment, we're still in the potential stage. Yeah, so it might be actual. And yes, Justin, I have also heard people saying octopuses were brought by aliens. Not true. I mean, on the balance of probabilities, not true. It's borderline impossible to disprove because there could always be something we don't know about. But I mean, honestly, don't really blame people for following that train of thought because the octopus is such a weird beast. There is not something, there are lots of things very alien about the octopus. It is very weird. Yes. Yeah, that's a fair call too, AIDSy. Sorry, Heine. 99 problems and AIDSy has all of them. But he soldiers on. He soldiers on. He faces adversity head on and hopefully comes out the other side. So, yeah, as I said, all things being equal and various hurdles and complications being overcome, might see AIDSy tonight because he expressed the desire to join us on this Saturday night. Possibly because I'm sort of changing things up. As I said, I'm going to do some less streams than I had been, but then I was doing streams on all the regulars. This might be the last Saturday night I do a stream, at least for a while, sort of planning other things. So, yeah, it's like, I had been doing every second Saturday. Might not do Saturdays at all. But the future is a strange and mysterious place, and none of us know exactly what it will bring. So maybe I will keep doing the every second Saturday stream. But a sort of advanced warning, maybe not. We'll see what happens, how things work out. It's a thing. It is what it is, as the saying goes. I'm just thinking, this is sort of apropos of nothing. I'm thinking for my cocktail channel on YouTube, do something arbitrary. They have shorts on YouTube now. Apparently that's a good way to get people to see your channel. And because it's pretty easy to put a short video together. Well, it can be difficult. Depends what you're doing. I'm thinking of doing a cocktail short a day in November. Just like rapid firing out, pretty straightforward. Gives me a couple of weeks to think about the format for them and whatnot. When I was thinking of just going on, there's a website called Difford's Guide, and keeps track of the popularity of cocktails based on searches on his website. And I thought, they're the most popular. That's what people are searching for. Maybe I could just go through that. And it goes porn star martini, margarita, espresso martini, amaretto sour, gin basil smash, French martini, a Manhattan, Negroni, Paloma, Cosmopolitan, Aperol Spritz, Corpse Reviver, Mai Tai, Naked and Famous, White Lady, a Baby Guinness. That's a silly one. I might not do them all. Baby Guinness is a shot where you do, it says a coffee liqueur, and then you top it with a cream liqueur. So it looks like a little miniature Guinness if you use your imagination. No bad one. What's this one? Picante de la Casa, Soho House Tonic. A chili, coriander, tequila, agave lime. Oh, okay. So that is a margarita with muddled chili and coriander. It says created by Chris Ojeda at Soho House, West Hollywood, USA. This house tonic is the best-selling cocktail across the Soho houses around the world. It's also become a popular contemporary classic served in other bars. I don't like chili. I'm a real wuss with chili and hot stuff generally. I only like very mild spice in whatever form that may be. I mean, I don't mind a little bit, but I really mean a little bit. Here we go. old-fashioned, dry martini, Cantaritos, so tequila, orange juice, pink grapefruit juice, lime juice, salt and topped with a grapefruit soda. Hmm. This is a classic. The screaming orgasm. That must have been invented in the 70s or 80s, really. It's a screaming orgasm. Vodka, Tia Maria, Disaronno, Irish cream, and cream. Just, just shitty, unsophisticated ingredient. I'm a snob. I am such a fucking snob. It's just like an alcoholic milkshake. Ah, yes, it does say it's from the 1980s, which makes sense. All the sexual innuendo cocktail names were very big in the 80s and maybe the 70s. Where do we go? A bramble, that's a nice, simple one. Vieux carré, I love a vieux carré. A cheeky Vimto, that's a very English one. Vimto is a soft drink that you don't really get outside of the UK. Sickly sweet blackcurrant berry fruit flavored drink for the undiscerning. Okay. So it's talking about WKD Blue. I don't know what that is. Wicked Blue. Let's see what comes up. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. It's an alcopop. Ugh, that sounds terrible. Oh, Jesus, Justin. You don't want to be looking up the human centipede. I know the concept behind the human centipede. I still haven't watched any of the human centipede movies. They're very disturbing. What's after Cheeky Vimto? Mojito? Last Word? Pina Colada? A Zombie? Long Island Iced Tea? Paper Plane? Whiskey Sour? I might make myself a whiskey sour tonight. I feel like I haven't had a whiskey sour in forever. That's that was one of the first cocktails I got into, actually, the whiskey sour. I feel like I don't have it often enough, so I think I'm gonna have a whiskey sour. Not right now. I'm still working on my first drink. Just now you've put this human centipede in my head. I can't get it out. Again, conceptually, you're like, who the fuck comes up with that concept? It's like so fucked up. It's ridiculous. Oh yes, just in the South Park version, very very silly. As is, and I don't say that as an insult. Actually, often when I say something's silly, I'm not saying it in a negative way. If I say stupid, I'm being negative. It's like there's a very silly Santa movie coming out called Violent Night, um, where Santa is protecting this rich kid from some bad criminals. Looks extremely silly. I will definitely watch it. It's got what's his name, who's the sheriff in Stranger Things. Um, that guy. What's David something? Yeah, but he's Santa. Um, and as again, when I look at that, I say very silly. Definitely planning on watching it just because it's very silly. And I occasionally like to watch things that are very silly. What's in a last word? Gin, chartreuse, maraschino, and lime juice. Okay, I'm feeling like this is a good plan. Just to non-thinking, just go to the next one. I'm not going to do all of them because I don't have the ingredients, or they just look straight up stupid. It's a dirty banana. That sounds like a sex move. Like that would be on the Urban Dictionary as a sex move. Oh, last night this girl, oh, she's really wild. We did the dirty banana. This is rum with Tia Maria, banana liqueur, cream, and a banana, and it's a blended drink. Blend it with ice. Popular cocktail in Jamaica. There you go. That's a serious dessert, a dirty banana. Daiquiri, class drink, aviation, Ramos Gin Fizz. Another sex name one. Slow, comfortable screw against the wall. A penicillin and a Brooklyn. All right, I feel like I have a strategy, and we'll see if it works. See if I can do it. It's not that hard. What's this one? A hand grenade. Gin, rum, vodka, green melon liqueur, pineapple juice. Oh, fuck the vodka. Fuck that right off. I just increase the gin, rum, melon liqueur, equal parts, pineapple juice. Sounds like a bit of a party drink. It's going to be coloured, going to be green because you put the melon liqueur in it. Who doesn't like a party? A fluffy duck. What do they say is in a fluffy duck? Gin, advocat, triple sec, orange juice, and topped with soda. A shaft. Okay, that's the first one I've literally never heard. What's a shaft? Coffee, vodka, Irish cream tea Maria. Just like a Russian coffee. Hemingway special. Sex on the beach. What's that? Pear schnapps, orange juice, pineapple juice, vodka. Ugh, I'm such a snob though. Anytime there's a recipe that says vodka, it's like, well, fuck that. Definitely not doing that. Fucking vodka. The fuck? All right. I feel like I have a plan, a strategy, a meaning to my life, as it were. A thing that will work, I think. Who knows? We just got to sell drum. All right. I'm just looking to see. Oh, I was about to say news. Did anyone see the um, bridge that got blown up that links Crimea to Russia on um, Putin's birthday? A major blow to him and his uh, ill-advised invasion of Ukraine. Shit is not going his way. So, sucks to be you, Vlad, is all I'm saying. And you're full of shit, man. And you deserve to have things not go well because that unprovoked and unwarranted invasion. Oh my God. This is fucked. A car crashed into a house and killed someone in the house. Jesus Christ, you don't fucking expect that. Wowzers. Good God. That's just like that's not good. Uh, that's the official position of the angry stream. Crashing a car into someone's house and killing them, not good. Yeah, Heine, I guess it is an open question about how quickly the bridge can be rebuilt. Uh, if Russia has, suitable engineers to redo it, because it was a pretty important link for Russia getting armor and whatnot to their invasion force. They could still ship things by ferry. But yes, and I agree, Justin. Putin's nuclear threats very scary. He's basically threatening to use nuclear weapons against Ukraine, and no one will stop him. I did see that story as well, Heine. The UK is having trouble. I think ammunition in particular, Ukrainian forces are using a lot of ammunition, and the US has been surprised at how quickly the Ukrainian forces are going through resources. What's a hanky panky? Dry gin, sweet vermouth, fernet, orange juice. Just the teeniest bit of orange juice. God, that's almost none. So, wow. Huh. Hmm. That's interesting. I'd try that one. Justin, you heard he might use Hiroshima-sized nukes. I mean, the thought of him doing that is quite terrifying. Because that's, killing, much like the Hiroshima and Nagasaki attacks in World War II, killed an enormous number of civilians. So would this. I know it's impossible to tell what he would do. It's really weird. Mrs. Angry must have drunk some of this. So there was more. I was going to have this. Right. 2 empty bottles. Um, yes, I mean, one would hope Putin wouldn't use nukes because obviously just because the casualties and often just because the escalation that would represent uh, and do you let him be a piece of shit and get away with it because you don't want the escalation of the mutually assured destruction of a larger scale nuclear exchange? uh, it's it's a complicated position. Is Putin only like playing brinkmanship, threatening to use nukes to freak people out and make people back off? I don't know. Would he really do it? I don't know. It's incredibly disturbing. Uh, it's just Jesus. Yeah. Now I just don't know. Like if this had happened like in the 80s in the Cold War, I would honestly, I'd be assuming we're all going to be dead crispy critters by the end of the week. Now, I don't really think that. But it's fucking scary. It's really, all you can say about it, man, that's fucking scary. It is just not good. So, we shall have to see what happens. And it is very disturbing that he'd threaten it, basically. It's just, ugh. It's yeah. I feel like I'm just going to keep repeating myself. Uh, it's a very disturbing situation. Just that we're in this circumstance where he'd threaten it. It's like, Jesus, dude. Just really fucking making us all nervous there, buddy. The very nervous times. Hmm. I'm just enthralled with these things. Ah, yes. America. Yes. Yes, and that is the big question. And not just the US, Europe. How would Europe respond? There are nuclear weapons in Europe. Uh, and that's why it's very scary. I mean, Putin is apparently on record as saying the West wouldn't retaliate because they don't want a full scale nuclear exchange. But then again, maybe that's just like he's playing chicken. Maybe that's just an extreme threat. I'll do it because I'm crazy. Um, very well, I was going to say very hard to know what's happening. It's impossible to know what's happening. You should be very wary of anyone who thinks they've got the inside track to understanding A, what Putin would really do, B, what the repercussions would be. Although I think it's a safe bet in America, they've actually had war room discussions like Biden and his chiefs of staff and the military, they would have all been sitting around a table and they'd be playing it out. Like, if Putin does this, what we do in retaliation. If Putin does this step further, what would we do then? And basically, weighing up the options, like, is there anything we can do that, won't doom us all? I'd be sure. I feel quite sure they would have been playing out all these options behind closed doors, just talking about, what's what and what can happen. Oh, it's musical elevator. Yes, that's actually more or less what we're talking about. The bridge linking Crimea to Russia getting blown up. But when you're talking about how far will Putin push things if he's backed into a corner, because pretty much everything about this invasion has been disastrous for him. Like, it's just gone so wrong. I really feel like he thought it would be a cakewalk. It would just be very easy. And it hasn't been. And I think the fact it hasn't been making him very, very twitchy. So saying, oh, Justin, there's nukes and there's nukes. Like, the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombs didn't even destroy a single city. Caused massive damage in the cities, but that size bomb wouldn't destroy a modern city, would cause massive damage and kill a huge number of people. And then there's, issues with radiation afterwards and that sort of thing. But yes, there are. I'm also not an expert in what Russia has in their arsenal, but I'm sure they have everything from lower yield weapons to very much city destroying weapons, like bombs that would vaporize a city and cause massive damage beyond a city. But yeah, I mean, the big question is, what could he possibly think he would gain by doing it? It's fucked up. Shit's fucked up, yo. That's what it comes down to. It's like, what the fuck is this guy actually doing? Is this bluster, or is he actually that dangerous? What's this? Facebook issues privacy warning against apps categories. Apple and Google. All right. I think I read about this. Okay, full list of malicious apps. Okay. The bloody Google store's a bigger risk than the Apple one. Where's the list? Android's app. Okay. There's a shit ton on Android. Various photo and video ones. Some music related ones. Jesus, there's a huge fucking list of them. It's going to be less for Apple because they police the store a bit more. Jesus Christ, that is such a long list of malware. Okay, I only care about iOS because I have an iPhone. Advertising, business ads, things about Facebook and ads. So many of them are actually about ads and Facebook and business. Wow, that's really interesting. On the Apple iOS, all of the malware is structured around Facebook advertising, business ads manager. Whereas on the on the Google store, they're fucking everything: media players, games, photo editors, music players. Jesus, that's fucking creepy, actually. As you go about it, the war ends with Russia kicking Putin out. Uh, one has to question if Putin can maintain power, because this was meant to be the classic despotic PR thing, what's known as a short victorious war. It clearly thought he was just going to steamroll in and take control, and 6 months in, he's up shit creek. That's for the flight enthusiast's point of view. Back then, you could file a flight plan from Taiwan to Germany straight through both China and Russia without politics saying no. I had a flight once that went over Europe, and I think it was Iran. It went around. You could sort of see the flight plane go. See, Justin. Okay, having grown up in the Cold War, the big thing, the propaganda we were fed was it was the nuclear deterrent. It was mutually assured destruction if anyone used nukes. But I mean, yeah. So the pro nuclear weapon crowd do definitely say the proliferation of nuclear weapons actually stopped nuclear weapons from being used, and you can't say that conclusively, but nuclear weapons were never used. Yeah, it was, Black Metal Heart. He definitely thought it was going to be a cakewalk. Like inside of a week, he'd be in control. So just in terms of what it's costing Russia, the two terms, what will cost you, treasure and blood, and also even just in terms of the humiliation attached to it. Russia lost face in this whole thing. And because Putin has been such a bastard over the years with, murdering political opponents and, any oligarchs who didn't want to give him kickbacks and whatnot, you've got to think the oligarchs are maybe trying to pally up to the military and say, this guy fucked up. We should get rid of him. What do you think? Which again, Putin would have to be thinking that too, which might make him unstable, paranoid, and dangerous. Okay, yes, thank you. Clarifying that for Music Ovada. Flights did used to avoid Iran. During the Iraq War, they go over Iran. Let's fuck than Iraq. That's like 1970s again. Yeah. I think because I honestly I haven't traveled internationally that much. I think I've only done that flight over, Europe, Central Asia, at night once, and it was fascinating because you're like you look at the little map thing on your seat back and go, "This is where we are," and look out the windows and seeing the lights of cities down there and go, "Oh, I'm over a city in this country." I quite liked it. I fly rarely enough to still marvel at the magic of it all. All righty. What are we doing? Ooh, okay. Looking at various things here. What's a Fitzgerald gin? Lemon juice. It's just a gin sour. Almond old fashioned. All right. Okay, what's this shit? Okay, just deciding on what ratios I'm going to use in a whiskey sour. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of sugar syrup. Okay. Looking at a couple different recipes. All right. I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm toying with which of my 20 whiskies to use. So many options. Putting ice cream back in the freezer. Okay. The plan. Okay. So, getting all this ready. A Wonder Foam there? All right, that's handy. The Wonder Foam's there. All right. We get a shaker. And a strainer. A Parisian shaker. Whiskey. You know what? Maybe my current favorite whiskey. Watkins whiskey. Lemon juice. All right, and sugar syrup. Got those. Got that. Just ice, really, is all I need. Jigger. Need to be able to measure all this. I mean, I could eyeball it. What would the harm in that be? Okay. So, get some ice in my shaker. Some kind of solidifier. All right. Ice in my shaker. Hello and hello, Kirsten. Well, that's a fun one, Musical Aviator, with Microsoft Flight Simulator for World Satellite Image. Fly the flight sim over the part of the world, find articles about cities you're over. Nice. Right. Whiskey sour. Okay. Get a decent whack of whiskey in there. A little bit more. All right, that's enough. Whiskey. Oh, and Heidi Ho Nettie. Rocking in about the same time as Kirsten. Now, we did get a rumour there would be an AIDSy. And then I haven't heard from him because he was travelling from somewhere. So, all right, that's this particular syrup finish. That's good. Alrighty. That over there. Might actually text him. So I've got a link for him. And a little bit of sugar syrup. That's not sugar syrup. That's lemon juice. All right. And I'm going to use Wonder Foam to make it foamy. Just for visual. Should be enough. Now, I'll be nice to anyone that might be wearing headphones. We'll be silent for a little bit as I switch the microphone off. Oh, okay. Shaker painfully cold to hold. This is a great indicator. You've shaken it enough. Let's strain that sucker out. Ooh, I need to put a few drops of extra bitters in there. All right. Little bit of the old Angostura bitters floating on top. Whiskey shower. Just reusing my glass, not doing it the way I normally would. Yum. On one level, I'm like, I don't know why I don't make whiskey sours more often. But really, the answer is because there are so many other cocktails you can make. Don't just want to make the same one over and over again. These are recovering from deciding it's a good idea to do things in the same thing. Overtired, over just worn out. I get the feeling. Nice. That up there. What's in? Hanky Panky kind of caught my eye. Gin, sweet vermouth, and just a little bit of Fernet. It's an orange juice, but I don't actually have any orange juice handy. Kind of intriguing. Don't know if I'll do it though. So, what did you actually do? You went as a friends plus one to an employee party for your old job, hang out with people in the current job. Oh, two social things. That can be very taxing. Okay, absolutely be very taxing doing two social things in one night. Yes. Okay. I mean, I'm supposed to go back into the office on Monday, which is some bullshit. It's so arbitrary. It's just people have got this idea that you should go back in the office. It's like, you know what? You can't justify it. You can't justify it. You make up this fictional thing about, oh, just the little interactions and conversations going, that's fiction. It doesn't happen. It's like if you're able to deliver on the work you're doing, why the fuck does it matter where you are? It's because fucking tiny-minded middle managers freak out about maybe they can't control people as much as they want to. It's just fucking control freakery. And I have not a lot of tolerance for control freaks. Okay, that's what I was going to do. I was going to send the email to AIDSy and then just remind him, because he might respond. If I tell him I've emailed him the link, then he might respond and say something like, I'm lost in the middle of nowhere and I can't get it. Okay, so Black Metal Heart, I honestly do feel for the people who put their all into a business in the city and they just got fucking wiped by COVID. But isn't that capitalism? It's kind of like if you have a service or product that people no longer want, don't you go bye-byes? Isn't that how capitalism works? Yes, Kirsten, I hear Sydney very wet. We got a bit of rain yesterday, almost none today. Yeah, no, musical aviator, that whole lost efficiencies is a fucking lie. Yeah, it's like, yeah, Black Metal Heart. Capitalism, the system's so good that you have to be forced to support it. God damn it. All right, I'm just going to text the AIDSy man. Emailed you the link. I only have to put EM and then it's autocomplete to emailed you the link. All right. So he might reply to that, whether it's to say he's going to come on or he is not going to come on. But we'll get a bit of a vibe whether the AIDSy man is coming back. Yeah, Nettie, there was a period, and in fact, in my suburb, not so much as some, but there was a period where it came down real hard yesterday. Yeah, some places more than others. My place less than many. But yeah, compared to like country Victoria, country New South Wales, and the East Coast and Sydney, what we had was next to nothing. But it was the most rain I've seen for quite a while, actually. When it really started coming down, it really made me realize, oh, yeah, well, like we've had lots of drizzle and bits of rain. And, but yeah, just really intense rain I haven't had for a while. So, Justin, your friend leaving Canberra selling his stuff, doesn't want to work from the office anymore? Oh my god, okay. I used to be really into Dilbert. I even read some of Scott Adams's book like a decade or more ago. But basically, dude went through a bad divorce and lost his mind. Now I've been through bad divorce and it's horrible and stressful and awful, but he lost his fucking mind and went full MRA reactionary. I'm the victim here shit. Ugh. Yes, I feel embarrassed for how much I used to be into Dilbert. Because Scott Adams fucking lost it. He's just become unmoored from reality in the last 3-4 years. And like I said, it all started with a bad divorce. And a bad divorce can definitely fuck you up. I say that in a very non-judgmental way for both men and women. A bad divorce can be a very bad thing. Nettie, maybe he was just a terrible person and that caused the divorce. I mean, obviously, I don't know anything about his personal life, but I know he used to regularly write. He married a woman who had at least one child, and that seemed hunky-dory for a few years, but it ended badly. She's just going to Adelaide with a politician. Okay, so it wasn't about the officer. That's fair enough. Oh, yeah, Nettie. Men treating marriage like an antidepressant. Okay, this is funny because I've been listening to the audiobook of Gabor Mate's new book, The Myth of Normal. What's that? The subtitle of the book is really good. I just want to get it right. Just open the old app. Oh, okay. It doesn't say the full thing. What's it say here? Details. That's it. The subtitle for The Myth of Normal: Trauma, Illness, and Healing in a Toxic Culture. The short version of what the book's about is basically saying our culture is so fucked, it is destroying our mental and physical health. And so when it says the myth of normal, is basically saying the concept of normal is ridiculous. Like normal means not sick physically or mentally. And he's going, that's bullshit, because the world we're in um, fucks you up. And the reason I brought that up, Nettie, when you said about men treating marriage like antidepressant, it is romantic partnerships, if they're working well, improve your mental and physical health. There's like study after study after study showing this, that generally being alone, being lonely is an incredibly extreme health risk. And yeah, marriage or partnership, and he is talking about heterosexual relationships there, improves both the physical and mental health of both, but it's like 3 times more beneficial to men than it is to women. But then also, bad relationships are worse for you than being alone. So, fine line. But yeah, that is a very, very true statement. Not just men treat marriage like antidepressant. Done right, marriage is an antidepressant, and the statistical evidence shows it favors men to a significant degree. But in a positive marriage or relationship, there are health benefits to women as well. But yeah, it's trippy as fuck. Like he tries to bring out just like, statistical evidence of how your mental state and how you exist in this world will absolutely have an effect on your physical health. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's very interesting stuff. Yeah, if you want to see some interesting, thought-provoking stuff, there are a shit ton of videos on YouTube's interviews with Gabor Mate. And I mean like long interviews. He seems to get into really long-form interviews. There's like a bunch of videos on YouTube with Gabor Mate that are an hour or longer, really getting into some of the subject matter. It's very interesting. I feel like I've heard of that one, Eddie, the New Zealand ad campaign saying she's not your rehab. Yeah, I mean, relationships should be mutually beneficial. And there is this weird thing, particularly in Western society, that marriage is supposed to, just be this cure-all for men. Kind of ridiculous, but it's a cultural thing. So, but yes, shock horror, bad relationships are bad for the adults, and they're bad for any children involved as well. So, yeah, I guess we all got to be careful about that sort of thing, because we don't want to get fucked up. It's interesting. AZ hasn't replied to my text message. He might. Who knows? Who knows? He might suddenly appear. That's the whole thing with AZ. If he says he's going to come in, that can mean anywhere from now to an hour from now to never. Because I think Heine said earlier, AIDS 99 problems and AZ's got all of them. He can have a plan and a goal. In his world, there are just so many things that can go wrong, that can complicate things, that can thwart him, that you think. Sorry, Nettie, you mystified. Okay, text. I don't know who you're talking about. Second, I don't know if you're being sincere or sarcastic. Justin, consensual sex is fucking awesome. Releases all the endorphins. Is very good for your physical and mental health. Oh, he did reply. There we go. Ding. Oh, he says he is going to be with us in a tiny bit. So maybe we will, maybe we won't. You know, it's the way things go with the AIDSy man. Oh gosh, Plague House, Kirsten. What particular plague is afflicting you at the moment? It's plague times we live in, really, isn't it? All right. That might be enough citrus. I think I'm going to wait till tomorrow night to try my barrel aged Sazerac. So I tried it a week ago and it was tasting really yummy. And I was going to give it another week and then try it again. Just the cold. Yeah, but cold. Man, colds fucking suck. Nettie, where some men get the idea when marriage is cure for them. Oh, okay. I mean, that's just a cultural thing, Nettie. It is a thing men are fed that you are meant to aspire to marriage, and then everything will go your way after that. It's not a particularly healthy attitude if it's not a mutually supportive relationship. Oh gosh, Kirsten, both you and the husband and the cat sneezed. Oh no. Justin, we went through a rough period a few years ago. Found sex with a friend therapeutic. Can't thank him enough. Nice. That's what friends are for. Well, again, a mutually agreeable thing. That's what we like to hear. Yeah. And again, the traditionally, of course, the roles of women and men in marriage have been cast differently. Oh yeah, easy you saying yourself in different ways. Yeah. But yes, a positive, mutually supportive, affirming relationship is a fantastic thing, is extremely good for your physical and mental health. But there is that danger zone of chasing it for its own sake. Because again, that was the interesting thing in the Gabor Mate thing. A bad relationship is worse for your health than no relationship. Zing. Lisa, favorite recent story: happy, healthy relationships. Queer polyam friend got married. Halftime travel wrestling event shared by partners. Left wedding with a date. Neat. Again, when you're happy and open and supportive and honest, all things are possible. And good for them that they've found what works for them. I am not of the frame of mind that says it has to be this or it can't be that. Just because there's a particular relationship structure that I think is not for me, that I'm like, oh, I don't want to. That doesn't mean it doesn't work for anything, and that includes, incredibly traditional gender roles in a relationship is not really what I'm into. But if there's a happy relationship where, the woman wants to be wifey wife at home, cooking, cleaning, giving birth, raising kids, all that sort of stuff, hubby goes to work and does that sort of stuff. And that's a positive, a forming, mutually agreeable relationship. Excellent. Good for them. Not my thing, but good for them. Same thing. The queer poly relationships, not my thing. Good for them when it works for them. Justin, you think the idea that everyone should have a lifelong relationship is dumb? What I think can be extremely damaging is the idea that if you don't set up a relationship that lasts for life, you're failing, because that's where people get stuck in bad relationships. Uh, my personal outlook is uh, to like set up relationships hoping that this is a permanent thing, uh, but not being a slave to that idea to the point where you stay in an unhealthy relationship. It's about, from my perspective, it's a balancing act. Uh, quite a lot of people do manage to find lifetime relationships that work for them. Uh, I think conservatively, I don't think that does work in like 75% of cases. If you look at like, I don't know, was it 50% of relationships end in divorce or separation, uh, and a bunch of people who stay in relationships aren't happy. So I think it's fair to say at least 75% of relationships don't become lifetime things. And Alexander, yes, I think the octopus in the art may be high. Um, yes, Lisa, that is an excellent way to put it. As long as it works for you, it doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. Um, like I said, as long as it's consensual, mutually agreeable, mutually beneficial, uh, you go for it. It doesn't matter that other people don't understand it. It doesn't matter that other people think it's wrong. If the people involved are in it wholeheartedly and with full and enthusiastic consent, go for it. The idea of persecuting someone because their relationship is not what you want, or their relationship is not what you see as perfect or even acceptable. Um, but again, like I said, full informed enthusiastic consent is a big part of that, which, because you could just see the pedos going, yeah, no, go the fuck away with your weird arguments about age of consent and whatnot. Children can't make informed consent, and you're gross and awful and need to go away. So I just thought, as I was saying that, some of the worst people in the world might try to latch onto that. I was like, ew, no, um, none of that. Thank you very much. So, all right, going to put my whiskey away. Kirsten, did we talk about this whiskey before? Watkins whiskey from Queensland. I just got this in a sale bin at Dan Murphy's, and I fucking love it. And it's now my eternal regret um, that I didn't get more than one bottle of it, because I think the regular price for this is like $150 or something. And I paid way less than that, like under $100, and I really like it. Okay, that's great. So it's like an earthquake. Oh, here's the thing I picked up today. I haven't opened it yet. The Queen's favorite. Okay, I was out getting some stuff, and I went into a dance, and they had Dubonnet. Um, so Dubonnet is an aperitif, a wine-based aperitif from France. Apparently, Dead Betty's favorite. She would have a Dubonnet cocktail, which is gin and Dubonnet. Uh, and apparently, when she died, and I don't know, somehow got out that this was a favorite drink, this sold out everywhere in Australia. And I went into a Dan's today, and there's a rack of them, and they were a third off. And I went, I feel like I can see what happened there. Um, little Betty pops her clogs. Everyone goes out and buys all Dubonnet, and Dan's goes, we need to get a whole bunch more Dubonnet in. And by the time they did, that sort of momentary fad for buying Dubonnet had passed. And now they've got too much Dubonnet. So I got it at like a third off, and I went, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to get some Dubonnet. Haven't made anything, haven't cracked the bottle yet. But that was a thing. that I got today. I also, I also got another bottle of the cask strength because they still had some, and it's like, you know what? I haven't even got through the first bottle, but fuck it, I'll get some more because I was using it in milk punches. Because you want something really sort of serious in a milk punch. That's what it was. Like when I had it was cocktails out for Betty. Apparently, just Dubonnet just sold out everywhere. Um, what's the sorry? What's I've forgotten what the cask strength is called. It's down here. Upshot. Yeah, there you go. Cask strength Australian whiskey. Just to really punch up cocktails, like 60% alcohol. Ugh. And it's just like it's so fucking cheap. I just bought another bottle of it. So that's gonna last me a while. Very disappointed I couldn't get another bottle of the Watkins though, because I really fucking like that. It's really mild. Like I did a little tasting last night, and I still like it. It's very mild and gentle. Well, you know, I'm just fucking going for it tonight. Aizu may or may not be here soon. Thinking I'm going to do my freezer martini because the taste was last night was I had a little one, it was good. I wasn't sure if it needed to change a bit. Sorry, Justin. Sorry, a friend is having a high school reunion. You'll probably notice everyone's gotten fat. Yes, that happens. Or in my case, everyone's just fucking old. Because you know, if you haven't seen someone since they were 17, 18, like for me, it's literally Christ, it's literally if people wanted to do a high school reunion, it's not far off 40 years for me. Oh Christ, someone's probably going to put that on Facebook soon. Yeah, we should do a 40th high school reunion. I'm like, oh, no. I don't think so. But yeah, seeing someone you haven't seen for 40 years is just unrecognizable. So, and yeah, because I'm not saying that's other, I'm saying me as well, obviously. But yeah, all right. I'm gonna get my martini glass. I'm gonna have a martini, and I might decide what to top the free. I feel like it needed something a bit sweeter, actually. Maybe what gins do I have actually? Bone dry. Maybe a citrus forward gin, coconut gin. What's that? Jennifer. Oh, maybe I could put the Jennifer in it. I think I did put some Jennifer in it actually. Yeah, maybe a citrus forward gin. Don't think I have particularly sweet, apart from the fruity ones, which are very sweet. All right, out you come, freezer martini. There's a thing of ice on top of the lid of my freezer martini. Lisa, your mother was tempted to go high school reunion, take a best friend, try to convince everyone she was gay. Fairly conservative high school. Oh no, also a best. I'll go with a gay black friend. Good lord. Yeah, that would upset the conservative folk. All right. All right. Get that freezer martini action happening. Put my citrus in there. Actually, might do a fresh bit. Normally I do lemon in a martini, but I don't have a lemon handy. Orange is not bad. It's not a bad option. Oh God, Mimsy's coming in to get leftovers. Oh God, it's like the lead up to almost getting leftovers. She freaks out. Actually, I'm gonna have a little taste of this. I might even dirty it up. Put a bit of my Vegemite vodka in there. Oh, suddenly Mrs. Angry's interested because I'm talking about dirty martinis. Um, that's nice. It's maybe a tiny bit bitter. So maybe actually something a bit salty will go in that. Because that tends to counteract bitterness. So, okay.
What's it got in there?
Gin and vermouth. That's my freezer martini. At this stage, it's ghosts of 20 different gins and 4 to 6 vermouths. All right, this is my clarified Vegemite vodka. Okay, I put a decent splash in there because, why not? I'll just stir that a little. So I think that's definitely dirty. That might qualify as filthy dirty. Okay, that's really interesting. You should try it. No, you should try that. See what you think of that. It's very dry, but the saltiness. Honestly, I initially thought of soup when I tasted it. That is a pretty good dirty martini right now. It's could be dirtier. That is actually pretty good. That is actually pretty good. Last time, Mrs. Anger and I went out to the Gin Palace, which is a very nice bar in the city of Melbourne that, as you might guess by the name, specializes in gin. And once we just got onto martinis, my personal preference in martinis is dry with a twist of lemon. And Mrs. Angry had, I think it was like a wetter, sweeter martini, and she asked for it to be dirty. And so we both got martinis that were actually really different. And we were having a lot of fun sort of swapping glasses. And sip one, it's like, oh, that's a nice bracing dry one. Then the other one's sweeter. No, fuck. See, this works. Yes, Lizard. I finally found a use for this stuff. It's good for dirtying up martinis. That's actually quite good. I also have a bottle of olive brine. Like, it never had olives. It was basically, people marketed this thing. It's for making dirty martinis. It's just olive brine. Because I don't like olives. But, dirtying up your martinis a bit. That is pretty good. That is actually pretty good. Yum. I might add some to the bottle. Oh, just a new bed. That's always fun. God, how long ago did we buy the bed we've got now? Well over 10 years ago. And it was an expensive bed, and it's worth it. It's definitely the most expensive bed I've ever bought by quite a bit. Fucking worth it. It's so nice to sleep on. And 10 plus years later, still really comfortable. Might collapse one day, been on it for this long. But if that happens, I know what old buddy's saying. It's just like, well, you know what? Spend a bit of money on the bed. Makes it worth it. Again, with the asterisk, I fully understand people may not be in a position to do that. All right. So I think I will top up the freezer martini. Oh, Justin, score. $3,000 bed, but half price. Fucking score. That sounds like it's going to be a good bed. Again, it is freaky how much a good bed costs. Just absolutely mind blowing. It's kind of like it's freaky how much a good lounge costs. Yeah. Even being an adult, I have trouble wrapping my head around. Like when I was in shared houses, and it was always like your bed was just shit and your lounge was just shit. Because you couldn't afford to spend more than, $100 or so, something. And you get shit for that. Then you get to be an adult and realize if you want to comfort, spend all this money, but it still does my head in. That's the way it is. I'm actually going to be a bit cheeky and put some of that Vegemite vodka. Oh, no, that is actually quite good. All right. I'm going to top up the freezer martini and put it back in the freezer. So I need to get a little funnel so I don't spill anything. Don't even know what that was I just poured into my martini. Ugh. Oh. Okay, got this. I'm going to get a couple of gins. Where's my Navy strength? Always got to put in a bit of Navy strength in the freezer martini. And I think I'll put sunrise lime in there. Freshen it up a bit. Oh. Okay. Sort of half Tim Smithed at the moment. I can feel it. Just standing up and walking around, I feel myself swaying a little bit. All right, put the funnel in. Take the cork out. I still haven't made a breakfast martini with this. And I even had the marmalade to do it with. I'll have to do that at some point. Pour that in. All right. A little bit of Navy strength now. I'm going to put a bit of vermouth in as well. That is how the world works. Oops, almost poured that straight into my martini, which honestly, I would have drunk. That's a nice, fruity, dry vermouth, that one. Quite a treat. Now, okay, I am going to put a little bit of my clarified Vegemite vodka in there. All right. Maybe a teeny bit more Navy strength. And I'll put a little bit of water in to simulate stirring it on ice. All right. All right. Just a little bit of water. A little bit of water. All right. That goes in there. I was holding it up going, that's not for my freezer martini. That's the one that's for my freezer martini. And back in the freezer with the freezer martini. Loogie, you got a gig working security, new better up. Nice. We're all getting beds. And I'm glad you got a gig as well. That's excellent news. Oh, okay. Dirty martini, ahoy. Mm. Mm. Ah, at last, I found a use for you. After you sat in the back of my fridge for several years, clarified you to freshen you up, and now you actually make a good dirty martini. That's actually quite nice. It's like not just acceptable, palatable. It's nice. It's good. All right. Again, I'm going to try and keep shit in order. Put these bottles back. Navy strength gin. And sunshine. Oh. So, actually, I should ask. Hopefully, Kirsten, you're still there. My resident expert of the Australian makers. Who makes a good sort of sweeter, so like Old Tom style gin in Australia? Because I've got dry, I've got citrus, and I've got a lot of fruity ones. I've got a lot of fruity ones, and I've got several barrel aged ones. I'm going to Holywater next week. Might pick something up. So, Louis, winter's arriving in northern USA. Close to your window, you can feel the cold seeping in. Yes, we're getting some proper spring weather here, although we are getting our third La Nina pattern in a row. So, particularly on the east coast of Australia, lots of rain this springtime, possibly into summer. Where I live in Melbourne has missed the worst of the rain, but so the east coast of Queensland and New South Wales has just had fucking flooding, just like so much rain over 6 months. Just it feels like, every month or so they get another flooding fucking scenario. Not good. Not good. Some people are doing it very tough with the whole flooding thing. And they're getting it again right now and over this weekend. It's a bit fucking rough for a lot of people, quite honestly. All right, so how long ago did Aidsy say he'd be here in a minute? 30 minutes ago. Okay. That's about right for Aidsy. Okay. So again, okay, I just he might show up. He might not. Ah. Tasty. Okay. I'm liking that. Do. Yeah, see, Kirsten, I'm putting you on the spot. But I'm sure you know. Oh, you know exactly what I mean when I say Old Tom, because I've got dry gins. I've got like a citrus forward one. I've got fruity ones. I've got the bloody Four Pillars Shiraz. I've got fruity ones from other makers. I've got a couple barrel aged gins. Okay, Settlers make one, but it's expensive. Again, okay. maybe I won't get it if it's expensive, but it was just a thought I had. And I guess the concept of whether a gin is sweet is, you know, down to your palate to a little bit as well. I don't know. We'll see. Going to a big tasting thing next weekend, and I might. It's really funny. So, Kirsten, correct me if I'm wrong. At these tasting things, you're kind of expected to swirl the thing around your mouth and spit it out, like not drink it, because there's like dozens of things. Craft and Co do one. Okay, so they're local here in Melbourne. And their stuff's on special sometimes in various places. I don't know. All right. No, it's just I thought maybe I should try and get one in that style. I'm not sort of like locked into the idea that I have to do that. It just occurs to me like and the reason it occurs to me, it's like I was trying my freezer martini and thought it was nice. It was possibly just a little bit bitter. And so changing up the gin that I top it with much, but also dirtying it, like salt takes away bitterness. Like again, I feel like if you're ill-informed like me, you think, well, the opposite of bitter is sweet, so I should add something sweet to that to stop it tasting bitter. But salt will stop something tasting bitter. So yes, adding my salty Vegemite vodka to that martini, dirtying it up. To great. Yes, no, Kirsten, I know you don't have to spit, but okay, I'm going to this thing. I'll look. I'll try and bring it up. See if I can bring it up. See if I can find it. Yes. Holy Waterfest. Okay, so Craft Distillery Festival. Okay, so the exhibitors. This is going to be there. This many distillers. Loro, Maidenai, Marionette, Monchero. No, what the? Why is it only showing 4 people there? That's ridiculous. Wait, festival info, is it there? Can I go to both sessions? About? Programming, is it in there? Oh no, that's their master classes, which I may or may not go to a couple of. Exhibitors, God, that's what I want. Okay, no. Distilleries, that's what I want. Okay, alphabetical order. So Animus, Anther, Backwoods, Bass and Flinders, Boat Rocker, Brogan's Way, Chief's Son, East Pole, Grain Shaker, Great Ocean Road, Jimmy Rum, Homegrown, Melbourne Gin, Mountain, Nort, Ned, Noble Bootleggers, Reed & Co, Tim Boone. So it's 19 distillers, and they've got more than one thing each. So even if you only had a sip of everything the 19 distillers had, you'd be frickin' hammered. You'd be frickin' hammered. If you have too much of glass, use the buckets. Pro tip, use the buckets. And then scull the bucket at the end. Yeah. Sorry, I now have the idea of having some sort of like drink bottle with me and just going like having a sip. All right, I'm gonna tip that in the and having some unholy blend in there at the end. I think that would get me looks These are too many spit versus swallow jokes to choose from. It is. Look, honestly, I gave you the straight line. I definitely gave you a straight line there. There's no getting away from the very obvious jokes that suggests. Okay. Right, I'm going to put this. I'm not going to have another martini, so I'll put this back in the fridge. Put the lemon juice back in the fridge. Oh, goodness me. Okay. Let's put that in there. Oh. Looking at my... Oh, God, I've still got all this cream of coconut. God, maybe I should make a pina colada tonight, honestly. I should also have a toilet break. I don't want to go to bed yet. You're going to Junipalooza, 50 plus stands. Good God. That was like, okay, with 50 plus stands, even if you sipped, swirled, and spat out, I think you'd absorb enough alcohol to be shit-faced, even if you didn't technically swallow any of it. You'd just absorb enough through your tongue and cheeks to be fucking drunk. So I was just bringing back, there's probably the biggest YouTube cocktail channel is called How to Drink. Greg from How to Drink. Does good content. I quite like it. He did one a couple months ago, last year. I don't know if time is immaterial. But anyway, what he did, he was trying to come up with the perfect Manhattan. And he did this matrix. So Manhattan is sweet vermouth and whiskey, basically pretty straightforward. So he did this matrix, and he had like 8 or 10 whiskeys, 6 or 10 vermouths, and he made this whole matrix of mixing them, and he was going to have like a sip of each and decide which one was the best. And he kind of thought he'd be fine, because when like you do a sip, that's not much, but a sip is probably an ounce of this alcohol. And I think he had like 28 of these Manhattans. So that's like 28 ounces. That was at a bare minimum for this video. He probably consumed, in a relatively short time frame, like about an hour, he probably consumed 20 standard drinks, which he ended up at the hospital because they were worried he had alcohol poisoning. Apparently, he didn't quite have alcohol poisoning, but he was very sick. And because it caught up to him, it's like, and it never occurred to him, because he's going, I'm just having a sip, it'll be fine. But there were so many just having sips. He had like fucking 20 standard drinks, and ended up in hospital. So he does the spit out thing when he's doing those now. So Nettie, you texted Daisy and he said he'll be here shortly. Nice. Pete, picking up from Belgrove, did a distillate of wine. Oh, yes. Yes. Distillate of the wine from Spittoons at the wine festival. Classy. Fucking classy. I like it. Lisa, you're allergic to juniper. Okay. If you are literally allergic to juniper, obviously you're not going to have gin. Somewhat unfortunate to you, mostly thanks to Kirsten. Over the last couple of years, I've really gotten into gin. That's because Australian gin makers are so innovative and do so many different things. But yeah, I completely get it. If you're actually allergic to it, you're not going to have it. But yes. All right. So I just thought what I'm going to do, waiting for Aidsy, but I feel I need to do a toilet break. Ooh, so Steve, the bartender, did seven easy bourbon whiskey cocktails with only one bottle. What did he make them out of? I actually want to see that. But I'm going to do my video, my bloody 20. Calm down, mate. Calm down.
G'day, cocktail.
No, you weren't meant to do that.
G'day, cocktail.
Oh, Jesus Christ. YouTube is just fucking with me, honestly. Oh, these are making mead. Nice. So he collected the wine from spittoons at a wine festival, distilled it, called it Kissing a Stranger. Jesus Christ. Okay. That's brilliant. Sorry, that's sick, wrong, fucked up, and brilliant. All right. So I'm just going to play this video while I do a toilet break. Okay, so you don't need me on there, and I'll full screen it and play it. It's only 4 minutes, and I'll be back after a wee break.
G'day, cocktail lovers, and welcome to the Cocktail Zone, where we bring you all the excitement of big league cocktails. I'm your host, Chuck Carrots. With me, as always, is my co-host, Archbishop. Thanks, Chuck. And today, Mr. Angry has promised a bloody interesting riff on a classic. Well, there's always lots of room to improvise, so, let's see what's happening. What do you got for us, Mr. Angry?
Well, Chuck and Arch, the 20th century cocktail is one that's riffed on a lot. It does originate in the early 20th century, but it's actually named after an express train that ran between New York and Chicago. Now, the various riffs tend to take the name of some other century, and they do tend to follow the formula of some type of spirit, creme de cacao, some type of aromatized wine, and citrus. The original used gin and Lillet Blanc, and that's close to what I'm doing, except I'm going to be using red versions of some of the ingredients.
Ah, I see where you're going with a bloody reference.
Yeah, it's a very bloody Australian thing to do. More than you might realise, the gin I'm going to be using is from the Four Pillars distillery. It's called their Bloody Shiraz gin. Fun story, they were trying to break into the overseas markets and they had trouble with the US regulators, and they decided to look into why is the FDA holding it up. And when they asked, the FDA asked them, okay, what sort of blood are you using, and at what stage of distilling does blood come into it? They had to explain the Australian sense of humour.
Well, at least you can get Four Pillars gin around the world now. And they've been winning a lot of awards in global competitions.
They sure have, because they make great gins. This one starts off as their dry gin. They steep it in Shiraz grapes that are grown in the area near their distillery. Now, you get a nice touch of sweetness from the grapes. It goes really well with the gin. And I know this is actually becoming more common around the world. Different gin distillers incorporating grape into some of their gins. In this case, we're using Four Pillars Bloody Shiraz gin, and we will be adding 1.5 ounces or 45 mils to our shaker. Next comes the creme de cacao. We're using white creme de cacao, and we're going to add about 3/4 of an ounce or around 22.5 mils to our shaker. Now for our next red ingredient. The original recipe said to use Lillet Blanc. A wine that a lot of people use as a substitute is Coca Americano. This is actually a version of that that's made with red wine grapes, Coca Rosa. And I'm going to be using this today, and about 3/4 of an ounce, 22.5 mils again, going into our shaker. The final touch is lemon juice, and I'm going to add 1/2 ounce or 15 mils of lemon juice to our shaker, and we're ready to go. We add ice to our shaker, put it together, bang it in hard, give that a good solid shake for about 10 or 15 seconds. We strain that into a chilled glass, and there is your bloody 20th century.
Oh, it certainly looks good.
Oh, it tastes great too. I thought the creme de cacao might make it a bit too sweet, but there's a good balance.
I feel like this is another drink that can help ease someone into gin if they haven't found a gin drink they like.
Yeah, I mean, it's very approachable. Are we going with a bloody 20th century as a name? I feel like 20th bloody century flows better.
Maybe just the bloody century. There was certainly enough war in the 20th century to justify the name.
Yeah, although now I feel we'll have historians on our back saying what was really the bloodiest century.
Well, look, I'm happy for them to claim whatever century they like as the bloodiest. I mean, that's just a bloody good drink. And as a successful experiment, which fits into our motto, life's too short to waste time on boring cocktails. Cheers!
All right, turning my microphone back on, and we're back. Okay. Nice. So the grape gin is actually an Australian invention, and Four Pillars pioneered it. I notice, but yeah, there's more and more around the world. Like it's caught on. Okay, but you know what? We're in a party now. I'm going to make a pina colada while I wait to see if AZ will actually show up. All right. 20 cocktails to make this full. Actually, I kind of want to see that. God, I can hear a pigeon in the next room. Fuck's sake. All right. I'm going to get just a standard pina colada recipe. Because I did actually get caught in the rain today. So, okay. What does it say? 2 ounces light rum, 1.5 ounces cream of coconut, 1.5 ounces pineapple juice, 1/2 ounce lime juice. Okay. I might even my homemade cream of coconut. Yes, Alexander. They call it their bloody Shiraz. Also, yeah, okay, so it's a world first. And Kirsten, you told me the story that I used in that video about them having trouble getting it into America because the American authorities thought it had actual blood in it. Loogie, there's a liquor brand called Four Freedoms. Maybe, who knows? Okay, I also just want to show off in a bit more detail. Now I'll talk about it. Where's the bottle? Where is the bottle? Is that it? So, the Four Pillars Bloody Shiraz gin is pretty widely available in Australia, and I know it's available around the world. And that's the standard when you get in shops. But if you get it from the distillery, they make limited edition bottles. So this one has like an art print of a wave crashing on the bottle. And then there's a little bit on the back talking about it. So I will absolutely be keeping this bottle when I finish the gin. But that's because I bought it at the distillery rather than buying it through a shop. So the distillery, fun place. Alexander, it's really fucking good. And I get it's a little bit expensive. It is very good though. And like I said, like for fun, that video that I just played was a riff on a classic cocktail called the 20th Century, and I just changed some red ingredients. It normally has gin, so I use the Bloody Shiraz gin, and normally it has Lillet Blanc, and which is an aromatized wine. So I use a competitor's aromatized wine, one that's often recommended as a substitute for Lillet Blanc is Coqui Americano. I use the Coqui that's made with red wine grapes, Coqui Rosa, so it's red. Yeah, Safa. It was a fun birthday present for Putin. And speaking of birthday presents for Vladimir Putin, wrapped up with a bow, it's AIDSy.
Hello. I
How
am
you doing,
very
buddy?
happy. I am very good and very homosexual. And
Okay.
happy to be in the Russia where the homosexual is treated with love and compassion.
Yes, it's a great place for the gays. Is
in
Russia?
in a jail somewhere where
Yes.
you are given the AIDS for free, and then you are given special work motivation through special
Shit.
physical means. Usually, what they used to call in South Africa a shambok.
Being hit
you
with a
know.
big stick.
Well, no, shambok was actually a leather product with a steel rod in it, and it would whip. It would actually curve and whip.
Yeah.
And delivered properly, it would actually take strips of skin off the back or face, depending on where the pretty yellow and blue vans would go in Soweto, which I thought was a name, but it actually just means Southwest Township.
Yes, it's a fun thing, isn't it? Southwest. It's kind of like what they'd say in America for a really trendy district, but it was actually just a place where they forced the coloured folks to be.
I don't know about forced. I don't know about forced. It was a place where coloured folks were allowed to use the tap, one tap for 20,000 people.
Well, I mean,
One fucking tap.
there's forced and there's forced. You know, it's like
There's forced and there's forced. Yeah, Kefa, what are you doing out behind? You know, in sundown.
It's like I'm not
I have
forcing
a gun.
you to be. I'm not forcing you to be there, but I'll shoot you if you're anywhere else.
If you're not at home, I'm behind curfew. You'll find out exactly what a man with no legs can do with his gun. Oh, sorry, that was a bit sharp. Yeah.
All right.
Didn't mean
Sorry,
to make
I'm making myself a pina colada, which involves shaky. So I'm going to turn off my microphone for a minute and give you the floor, because this would be very cruel to anyone wearing headphones. I notice you're wearing headphones. The loud shaky noises would be very cruel. So I'll switch off my microphone for a second and give you the floor.
Thank you very much. Shaky, 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 shaky.
Now we're doing what we call the dirty dump. I know.
Let's not do that. I've just been busy. And I don't want to.
No, it means a different thing in certain nightclubs. Here, it's just not filtering out the ice.
I was once in a nightclub in Berlin, and they had
it's a very Berlin nightclub thing, definitely.
I actually love saying that when I'm in company, and someone says something that is either slightly off color or they get their words mixed up. Trans folk is always good fun, because you can always say, I was once in a nightclub in Berlin where there was very special places you could go of a night time. The only time I have seen a Dutchman punch anyone was when they hassled the Milky Veg or the Milky Way nightclub in Amsterdam. It's so loved, right? It's so loved that that Dutch people get fucking furious if you give it shit. And you know the I think it's Church song Under the Milky Way Tonight. It's about that club. I always thought it was about Australia. And I was trying to make the argument with the person who was telling me about this that it could be both, because in my mind the way the song runs, it reminds me of someone leaving their home at dawn and driving into either the city or somewhere, because it builds, the whole song builds up to. Oh, by the way, just a piece of trivia, right?
Yes.
In toward the end of the song, in the break, there's a bagpipe solo.
Yes.
Now, they recorded this song in Denmark, and the producer said, fuck, what we need here, 2:00 in the morning, what we need here is a bagpipe solo. And left. And the band went, where the fuck is he going to get a bagpiper in Denmark now? Is he on fucking drugs? Because we've paid him a shitload of cash. And this guy found a bagpiping busker 2 kilometers away and said, I'm going to pay you 1,000 guilders, but you've got to come with me now. And he went, fuck, okay. Can you read sheet music for 1,000 guilders? I'll give it a fucking go. And he went, and in comes this bagpiper, and I can never remember his name, but the lead singer and owner of the
Steve
church
Kilby.
Steve Kilby, just went, fuck me.
Sure, bagpiper. Yeah,
Apparently that's just all he could say was like,
yeah.
fuck me.
If what you say is true, if it was inspired by a Dutch sex club, wish I knew what you were looking for, might have known what you would find, takes on a whole different
new
meaning.
meaning.
Whole different meaning.
Whole new set of meanings. Oh yeah. There's actually 3 levels to the Milky Way.
Yeah.
And the lowest level, where they put the bands, has got crystals put in the roof that mimic the night sky. And they're not lit with LEDs or anything, but the stage lighting bounces off the crystals and they twinkle. And apparently people take advantage of Holland's loose-ish attitude to pharmaceuticals and go to the Milky Veg all the time and going, this is just fucking awesome. The ukulele band is playing and the stars are twinkling and I'm getting blown.
And the edibles are kicking in. And
am I getting blown? No, I'm actually fucking a bowl of caviar. Weird. I thought I was getting blown. And but the Milky Veg technically isn't a sex club. It just happens because there is a Casbah. They've probably changed it now. There's a Casbah bar in the top level, and it's like these archway sort of mattress on the floor seating areas, and you can sort of go into these areas and hang out. There's one in Edinburgh as well, and I went into there with a friend of mine who we met a guy from Brisbane, and there's a guy that I went with who actually. I'm not going to say his name.
No, we're not going to say names. No.
Was so pissed off that he met this Brisbaneite that he started talking about how gay he himself was, and that he was keen to leave a part of himself in a young man somewhere in Edinburgh tonight. And eventually this Brisbane guy went, yeah, I think I might go somewhere else. And I just went, that is the wrongest I've heard you talk ever. And he went, I wanted that sea to piss off more than you can imagine. And he did. However, on the same night, we went to another club, and we were around sitting on stools around a table drinking Iron Brew and vodka. And,
Iron Brew and vodka, sure, yeah.
And we were told we were legends because we were from Australia and we were drinking the local drink. And Iron Brew from Scotland is different from Iron Brew in Australia. Only slightly. Yes. Only slightly. There's more actual iron in it. But Iron Brew and vodka is a fucking amazing drink, and you can get shattered on it. Anyway, so I was drinking my Iron Brew and vodka and having a great time, and this old man had crept up and he was putting his finger down my ass crack, down my pants, and I was like,
sure,
what the fuck? And I was turned around, and I unfortunately was on steroids at the time, which didn't cure my arthritis, but only made me fat and angry.
This is the angry fat lesbian AIDS.
Yeah, remember when I was really fucking green and everyone thought?
I've seen the pictures. You had the short hair and you're a little bit bloated, and your skin was a very weird sort of oxidized metal green. And And again, people, you might think I'm exaggerating or AIDS is exaggerating. We don't mean greenish. We mean his skin was green. It was
Green.
sort of oxidized copper green. It was it was a whole thing.
It was the thing.
Sorry. Oh, dude, I want to share. This is not completely off topic, but while I think of it, someone made me aware of this just recently. Because you know how cannabis is becoming increasingly legal state by state in the US.
Yeah.
They actually have cannabis versions of very big name candies. Someone made me aware of this. Nerds ropes, like you said, Nerds ropes with THC, Skittles, Starbursts, Cheetos, Jolly Ranchers. They actually sell recognizable brands with THC. Like, because of course you expect individual legal cannabis shops to have edibles in them, but mass-produced recognizable brands with THC in them exist.
I know that Philip Morris, who owns the other company that owns Winfield cigarettes.
Oh yeah, the tobacco company. Yes.
Has had their marijuana packet designed since 1985. It's been designed, ready to go. They were just waiting for marijuana to be legalized in Australia, and it is actually going that way. A lot of weed candy.
Lukey says there's a THC Mountain Dew. So, God, sugar, caffeine, and THC. Wouldn't you like fucking go off? So,
I
AZ.
I just reckon gaming
the fact I was
would be fucked up. Sorry, go on.
The fact I was made aware of these THC American candies existing, I do not know anyone who has access to them. And if that sort of thing was communicated to me, I definitely wouldn't tell you, okay? Because that would be illegal, kids, and we wouldn't do it. So I'm just going on record here, AZ. I definitely do not know anyone who says they have access to it, and I definitely would not tell you about it if I did. Okay?
I'm glad
that's
you wouldn't tell me about that.
That's out there now.
That would be illegal, and we wouldn't participate in that.
No. So that I'm on record for anyone who ever questions it. No, kids, that's illegal. Don't do it.
Tablets of marijuana are a gateway drug to homosexuality.
Look, the same as I don't know anyone who would explore the concept of cultivating hallucinogenic mushrooms, and
I don't know anyone.
I would not associate with anyone who would do that. And if on the off chance someone I knew did do that, again, I would not tell you, AZ. I would.
That's another gateway. That's
a gateway to higher consciousness, right there. That's
the toast. The toast, like French toast, of those is a gateway drug to the marijuana tablets, gateway drug to the homosexuality.
That had never occurred to me, but now the concept of French toast with actual mushrooms on it.
That's how these things are.
See? Alexander is on board with our high moral standings.
Thank you,
that's
Alexander.
I've also never heard. Have you ever heard the term lemon tech?
I have.
I haven't. But apparently that, and again, this, I don't know what the science behind this is, but apparently scruffy ne'er-do-wells who would indulge in hallucinogens, apparently if maybe they dried and ground up some mushrooms and mixed it with lemon juice, that produces a whole, just lemon juice, something about the citric acid in lemon juice, and just produce. Look, honestly, I wouldn't indulge in it. It sounds bad. It sounds illegal.
I have never come across this. And I have never
No.
embarrassed myself in public after coming across this by not remembering where I lived. And going on a long walk and realizing I was in Carlton and going, you don't live in Carlton. And happily, it was a Saturday, so trams were running all
So everything
night.
was open and transport was running. Yeah.
So I was able to get a tram, which was 4 blocks the wrong way, and I went, how the fuck did I get here? And it was a demon that took me off my path because I've never run across that.
No, you wouldn't do that. Oh God, you know what you
And,
reminded me of? This is true story from my misspent. I didn't do it, and I'm not even joking. Okay, this is jokes aside. I didn't do this. This is the thing some other people got involved in. This is not messing about a genuine don't do this message. There is a plant which you can find in various parts of Australia called Datura.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do
that. Do not. This happened to a guy I knew. He just thought
actual no joke. Actual not joking. Don't do that.
No, don't. No joke. This happened to a guy I know. When it kicked in, he completely dissociated. He was in a car with everyone. And Nettie's going Angel's trumpet. There's a few things. He was in a car with people and it kicked in and he didn't recognize anyone in the car. And he also couldn't remember who he was. And he freaked out and he was trying to jump out of a moving car and they stopped. And it was apparently a couple of days till he got past this complete disconnect from reality of basically not knowing anyone, not knowing himself, not understanding anything that was happening. Don't do it. Just don't. You'll get some weird fucks.
Okay,
It's natural, man. It's natural. It's just a plant, man. It's a fucking poison. Don't do it.
No, it's a poison. Don't do it. I'll back you up. There was a party. The people were out the back doing the party thing. One guy who was on the Datura with everyone else said, "Oh, I'm just going around the corner for a piss." He went round the corner and he was gone for a long time. And somebody who didn't have a lot said, he's been gone a long time, and was worried he might have wandered off, and went round. And what he was doing was he was scraping himself up and down the bricks of the house because he thought they felt really soft and gentle. And he had actually basically
abrasions,
abraded his whole face, his whole arm, and his whole side, to the point where, freaking out, they said, "We have to get an ambulance, and we are fucked. And if the cops come, we are fucked. But we have to get an ambulance." And ambulance was good about it.
Ambos tend to be good about it,
and the Ambos, well, no one knew that the laws had changed. When Ran was in,
that's the old days. Yeah.
It's old days, right? When Ran got in, he got a report from the actual cops who said, what's happening is kids are dying because they're worried about calling Triple O, because the cops get called and the cops are supposed to look for drugs. But they're usually bullshit drugs. But what's actually happening is dangerous drugs are killing kids because they're not calling help. So we've got to make
not calling help. So I'm just going to throw in, I think Nettie wants to join us. So I've just shared the link. So Nettie might join us. I think she's just really interested with us talking about these things, quite honestly.
So Rand said, okay, we're changing it. The Ambos don't have to call the cops. The hospital doesn't have to call the cops. And the ACT was the last state territory to do it. And I was caught in a situation where I'd been shot And hi, Nettie. How you
Hi,
going?
Eddie.
Good. Look,
Got a kitty.
I
Hi,
got a
kitty.
kitty.
I was caught in a situation where I'd been shot, and I couldn't call an ambulance. I had to go back to my friend's place. Just quickly, we went into town after I'd been shot to buy heroin because we thought it would be a good topical, like a local anesthetic. It's not. And then we went back to his place, and I smoked about 14 cones because I was in a little bit of pain. And then he
Yeah.
said, well, we've got to get the bullet out. And he got a pair of long-nosed pliers and washed them thoroughly under the tap. Right.
Yeah, safety first. Safety first.
Safety first,
Run them under a tap before you stick long-nosed pliers into an open wound.
Right. And so because we were young and stupid, we wanted the bullet to like hang around my neck as like a really cool thing. Yeah. And so he's put these long-nosed pliers in. I have passed out for the third time that night.
Jesus.
And because when I got shot, I passed out straight away. I just went boom, down like a bag of shit. Then he woke me up and said, we have to run away.
We have to run away.
Because the Iraqis are coming over the fence to get us. And we thought they were going to kill us. What actually happened was, because I met one of the guys years later. He had defected and was a taxi driver, and his daughter came and saw a show that I was doing, and I told the story. And his daughter said, are you going to be here next Monday? And I went, well, yeah. And so she brought her dad, who was like one of the guys.
One of the guards at the embassy.
Well, it was a consulate, but, it was an embassy. And they had literally nothing to do except for 2 days a year where they bought wheat from Australia 2 days a year. And the rest of the time they had to man this consulate, and they had fucking nothing to do. So they would grow marijuana trees out the back. Remember, it's not Australia, it's Iraq.
It's diplomatic immunity. It's
diplomatic
not
immunity.
soil.
It's not Australian soil. So the cops can look at it all
the
they
laws
like.
Don't apply. Yeah.
The laws don't apply. And of course, their bosses are a long way from home. And they're just sitting there going, yeah, I think we'll have some tea with it. And the buds were like this fucking big. So me and my dodgy friend were looking over the fence going, yeah, we'll have some of that. And they've got like night vision cameras and shit going on, and they saw us looking over the fence going, yeah, and they're going, those kids are going to jump that fence and fucking steal that fucking marijuana. So the next Friday, sure enough, we jumped the fence and said, what we're going to do is we're going to sneak out the back, turn on the lights, and shoot over their heads. So they're going to run away and tell all their friends, don't steal the Iraqi marijuana.
Don't do it. Yeah.
So they come out the back and they go bang, 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 bang. And I do the best high jump ever because I wasn't a fit guy over the fence, and my leg goes high, and I caught a stray in my leg. And when I was talking to this guy, I said for months that was the topic of conversation because they were reading papers every day going, fuck, is there a dead kid?
Is there a thing about a kid we shot?
They were looking for this kid we shot, right? And they were freaking out, going, oh, Christ, this kid's going to turn up somewhere. Our bosses are going to go, you shot a fucking child? What are you doing? And they were losing their minds. And we, of course, there's all bushland behind this place. And, of course, we were Australians, so we knew how to hide in it. They jumped the fence to look for me because they thought, fuck, he's going to die if we don't help him. Right? Yeah. Shit, this is not a good scene. And they were looking for us, and we were, like, hiding because we didn't want to get killed because we thought they're going to finish off the job. And so it's like, fucking complete cross of. So anyway, we went into town and bought this heroin, and then we went back to our mate's place, and then we injected it in and around the wound, and it did fucking nothing. And then he's washed off the pliers, I oh, shit. I remember, we were running through this, fucking forest, and we get to the bus stop, and we wait.
For a
'Cause
bus.
what the fuck
Yeah,
else
yeah.
are we gonna do? Well, we're just sitting there
And
waiting.
sorry, just really
for a bus.
quickly, Dr. Abigail came in and said, "Hey, just after I posted the
Abigail.
link, so Dr. Abigail, if you want to join and you don't see the link, tell me. But if you don't want to join, you just want to chill, that's also cool. But if you want me to repost the link, just tell me if you want to join us." And also, I'm going to let AZ keep going for you. I always love the line that we put into Code Grey. I got shot by Iraqis before it was cool. So because that was before the Gulf War. That was before the first Gulf War. So AZ got shot by Iraq. He's a hipster. He got shot by Iraqis before the Americans made it cool.
Fucking trendsetter, right? Before anyone was getting shot by Iraqis, me.
He was first. He was just there doing it.
Hey, I just need to shout out to Abigail. Abigail, I really do need to talk to you just a few lines, something on Discord or whatever. I just need to work out what's happening next in a week and a half.
But that's an off-stream thing. Yeah, definitely have. Yeah. And yeah, you do want to have that chat, I think, because I know a bit more about what it is you want. You're slightly in the dark, and I'm not. So that is something you want to do. I think. But anyway, so AZ, Iraqis shooting.
Right. So
Canberra.
we're at the bus stop.
Canberra. I'm sorry. Canberra is a weird town.
It is. It's a weird fucking town.
Yes, it is. And so we're at the bus stop waiting. Like there's Iraqis running through the bush trying to kill us, and we're waiting at the bus stop going, what the fuck else are we going to do? And the bus comes, right? My leg is pissing blood, right? My jeans have got a hole in it, and there's like blood coming out my jeans. And
did they get you in the shin, or did they get you like in the calf or in the thigh?
In the calf, in the front of my calf. And it went
near the bone.
Well, near, but not on the bone by any stretch.
Oh, that's right.
I had big calves. I was a swimmer for a long time, and I had these really big calf muscles, and it sort of side got me, and on the outside, which is good because there's less nerves there actually, and you see in the movies people get shot and they go, oh, ow, and they get up and they run again. No, you get shot, you go down like a bag of shit. It hurts like fuck, and you pass out immediately. Anyway, so yeah, my friend got me up and said, we've got to run away. They're coming. And I went, okay, oh, shit. And then I said, oh no, we've got to go back. And because we left our bag of dope there. And he went, we'll come back and get that later. We'll come back and get that later, okay? And so we kept on running. We get to the bus stop and we wait. Then the bus comes, and there was no electronic anything, right? You paid with cash, or you had bus tickets, like pink bus tickets.
They were physical.
And what you could do is you had to drop them in a little slot. But what you could do if you were clever about it is you could, with 2 fingers, put them in the slot and then palm it back. And my friend put it in, palmed it back, and I thought, that's inappropriate for people who are trying to run away from technically a crime scene.
You don't want to attract attention.
Being thrown off the bus at this point would be a bad thing. And then I get on the bus, and the bus driver says, are you all right, mate? Because I'm like white.
Very pale,
Shit, very pale. And there's clearly blood coming out of me. He says, are you all right, mate? And I'm going, yeah, I'm not a poof or nothing.
I love that as a comeback.
And it turned out to be a lie anyway.
I was about to say, how many dicks did you fuck that week? Which was
well, I was only new to it. No.
Okay. You were still a bit new then. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I had decided that even though, maybe I'd gone through a few cocks, that I probably wasn't. It was a phase. And
Oh,
then I decided it wasn't a phase. And then I started with the chicks and I went, okay, maybe that's. And then I thought, okay, the chicks are a phase. And then that wasn't a phase. And then I thought, maybe I've changed. And then there was guys again. I went, no, haven't changed. Just
no, you want both of them. You eventually
and
worked out.
I worked out that I was doing both of them. Now you got to understand, in the 80s, being bi was the worst thing ever, because the bis were the ones who were taking the gay plague and giving it to the good people.
The straights, yeah.
The straights, right? So the bis were the evil bastards who were giving the nasty disease to the straight people. So they had to go to the island first.
But also, the gays didn't really trust the bis either.
No.
They didn't. Yeah.
Everybody hated the fucking bis. Trust me. Except for all the people who rooted me.
Until that song
Which one?
by Living Colour. Everybody loves you when you're bi.
And Lenny
Then
Kravitz.
it became cool.
Lenny Kravitz did a version, and he was very cool.
Oh, look,
Lenny Kravitz is one of my
Lenny
heroes.
Kravitz could sway anyone to anything, basically.
Well, he is the poster boy for bi. And oh yeah, hello. If Lenny Kravitz came to my place for dinner, I know what he'd be eating. Anyway, I'm on this bus. We get into town. We buy the heroin. We go back to my mate's place. He washes off the long nose pliers, and he dives in to get the bullet. I pass out, right?
And
then,
as you do, yeah.
As you do. And then he wakes me up and says, I didn't get the bullet. And I said, and you fucking woke me up for that? And he said, I just kind of wanted to know you were still breathing. He said, I want you to drink this cup of tea. And he'd made this like schooner glass. We're in Victoria, pint glass of tea.
Yeah.
And he said, I want you to drink that. And I'm going, okay, why not? And I want you to smoke these 3 cones. And I'm going, okay, why not? And so I drink this pint glass of tea, and then I smoke 3 cones. And he says, I'm going back in. I'm going, oh, shit. And so he goes back in. I pass out again. And then he wakes me up and says, I got it. And I'm going, that's the time to wake me up. And then he washed it out in the sink and fucking dropped it, and it went down the sink.
Oh, no.
And I went, no, it's gone down the sink.
Hit the bullet.
And I said, okay, I'll undo the sink and get it out. And the fucking thing went all the way down.
Yeah, because it wasn't that. It was probably a low caliber thing. It didn't.
It was a weird caliber. It wasn't a 22 and it wasn't a 38. It was a weird caliber. I imagine that the Iraqis weren't on good terms with anyone and they had to make their own ammunition. So it was a weird caliber. So it all just flushed through. So I missed out on my cool piece of jewelry. What a fucking wanker. Anyway, then my friend said, look, I hate to tell you this, but we really have to stop this bleeding because it's really not cool. And I went, okay. So you got bandages? He said, no, we're not going to do it like that. Because I was on the tiled floor of his kitchen because I was bleeding and he had to clean it up. Right?
They can clean up easily if you're lying on a tiled floor. Yeah, okay, I get it.
No. I was sitting on a chair and my leg was out sitting on another chair. So it was up at a good height for him to work. And so he said, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do it another way. And he got a washcloth and washed off my leg. And he had another bullet. He had a few bullets, actually. And he'd taken the bullet out of the round and he poured the gunpowder in the hole and lit it.
Cauterizing it.
Cauterizing it. I passed out again.
Because literally having your skin fused shut with extreme heat is quite an experience.
There is, weirdly enough, you can still see the mark, but it's migrated. It's actually migrated around my leg.
Right.
It was right at the front, and then it's because it was on my left leg, so it's migrated around sort of to the side. It's going to the back. And with my
Is
current
it on
problem,
your calf or your thigh?
calf, it was on my calf. I got shot in the front of the calf. I had huge calf muscles because I was a swimmer. In fact, in uni, the seamstresses used to make my costumes often with a slip down the back of the pants, or they used to make different shapes for my pants, basically because they wanted the girls to see the calf muscles, because they said if you got legs like that, you show them off.
Show 'em.
And I had no
Hi, bum
idea.
fungus.
Hey, bum fungus. But apparently the seamstresses said, yeah, no, we're doing this for the girls. And they said,
Fair
your
enough.
acting ability is, okay, but yeah,
But let's show off those calf muscles.
a bit of beefcake on the stage is all right. Because I always thought I was ugly. Until my second year, when I basically chilled a little bit, and I was up to my nose in quim and getting a lot more roots, and realized that I was actually wanted, because I'd been told as a child that I was, it was basically my value is shit, and that I was destined for zero-ness, and this wasn't just the apparently evil dad, who's not as bad as I make out. I just tell the bad stories, not the good ones. But I was also at a Catholic school who found out that I was gay. Half the staff wanted me gone because I was the devil child, and half the staff were trying to keep me there because I was actually a decent guy. And they said, why are we getting rid of the decent guy when we've got these fucking footballers who like to rape people? And me. I got gang raped 6 times in high school, and there was 2 guys who were in every one. And right on in the 6th one, I said, you guys have come back 6 times. You're not here for the torture, are you? And they went and blushed. They both blushed, and it stopped. The whole thing stopped. Never happened again. And I was glad I said that, because I sort of caught them. They were getting off on it. Anyway, that's a side story. So the wound was cauterized. Then we washed my pants in his washer to get the blood out. And it worked because he put it in the dryer, and he made me drink 6 more pints of tea. And he had made me smoke 8 more cones. So I'd smoked about 25 cones.
That's a lot.
And was feeling a lot less painful. Now, my old man was coming for me at 6:30 in the morning to go to work with him. It was 4:45 when we got to bed. 6:20, I get up with my friend and put my clothes on and go, okay, I'm going to work with my old man. And I realize I'm still stoned. I'm
That's what you're
I
worried
am
about. Not
really
about the bullet wound.
no, I wasn't worried about that. I thought I am really fucked up here. Oh my God, my old man's going to find out how fucked up I am, and he's going to get really pissed off. And I'm just going, shit. So we get in the truck and we're going to work, and there was hot air balloons. There's hot air balloons every winter in Canberra, and they're great. And I was going, oh, look at those balloons. They're fucking awesome. They're, great colors. And my old man looks at me and says, what's your fucking problem? They're there every fucking day. Jesus Christ, they're just balloons, dude.
It's just balloons.
Fuck's sake. You get a bit of fucking sheet and a bit of fucking propane, and away you fucking go. I wouldn't pay fucking $400 to fucking have some champagne and chicken on a balloon. It's ridiculous. I'd do that on a plane. And I'm going, all right, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, stop
Do
talking.
not talk. Stop talking. Do not talk. This is bad. Talking is bad. And so we get to work, and he goes, right, dig this trench. And I'm going, yep, doing that. And I dig that trench. And little blue men were telling me what to do, and I'm going, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And I'm digging the trench. And then he says, move that pallet of bricks because it's in the way. And I'm going, I'm moving that pallet of bricks, 6 at a time with the brick carrier. And I move it over there, and we dig another trench underneath. And then he puts the pipes in, and he says, okay, put the gravel in, and then put the dirt in, then move the pallet of bricks back where you found it. So I move that pallet of bricks back where I found it. And then he says, break 5 holes in the building so we can put pipes through. And I'm going, yes, I'm going to do that. And about maybe 4:30, the sun's getting low, and we finish the job, and I'm just starting to come down. Oh no, I forgot. Smoko happens. Smoko happens at 9 o'clock, right? Smoko happens. And he says, yeah, get into some smoko. And I say, hey, thanks. And he says, tea? And I go, okay. And I'm thinking, I've had a lot of tea. A little bit more is not going to hurt. So he gives me my tea, and I drink my tea. And this tea had sugar in it, which was lovely. And then I start eating smoko, which is a couple of biscuits and some fruit. And I start eating smoko, and I eat the biscuits and the fruit and my sandwiches, and I started on his sandwiches, and he says, some of those sandwiches are mine, matey. You might want to leave me some lunch. And I'm going, that's a thing. I'm sorry, I didn't eat much last night. I'm really not thinking. And he went, okay, well, I'll give you another cup of tea, and we'll go there. So I had this other cup of tea, and then I thought, I've got to go for a wee. So I go to a trench that we've done, and we're only going to backfill. So we're not going to go back in that trench. And I start to urinate into this trench, and I'm there for like a minute and a half because I've drunk. I've drunk like a bucket of tea last night.
You've got to expunge it.
And I just kept on urinating, and my old man's going, have you got kidney problems? Is everything
you're going to swap
good?
The trench. What are you doing?
And he's going, and he's looking at the piss going, there's not a lot of vitamins in there, but it's a firm stream. And this happened 3 more times during the day. And he said, I might get a doctor to look at you. And I'm going, I don't know if that's completely necessary. I just sometimes I've got a Chinese letter. He said, "No, you don't." Anyway, anyway, so 4:30 comes. The sun's going down. He opens and shuts the lid of the toolbox a couple of times. That calls the dog, and the dog comes running up and jumps on the truck, and he knows he's going home. And the dog loves being on the ute because he knows that him and his master have caught this fucking huge beast and they're taking it home. So he puts his paws over the front bracket and going, yeah, check me out. We killed this. We fucking killed this. And we're taking it home because we are that fucking cool. And other dogs are barking out windows and he goes, yeah, go for it. Look at my kill. Yours is Barina, so fuck you. And I'm just starting to come down, and my old man looks at me and says, "You know, you're fucked. Generally, as a human being, you whinge, you whine, you fucking
Oh my god.
skeevy, you're skeevy, you often lazy, you try and fucking get out of work all the fucking time, you complain about fucking everything, you shit at what you do,
Oh my
and
god.
fucking,
Jesus.
sometimes I want to punch your mother in the mouth for fucking having you because,
Oh,
you're pretty shit. But today, you were fucking awesome. You fucking did work like a fucking Trojan. You just were just hardcore at it.
oh my
Mate,
god.
I don't know what you did last night, but do it again. And
Do it again. Get shot and rip truckloads of bongs. And, oh my god.
and
Sorry. Yeah.
I very nearly laughed. I very
Yeah.
nearly laughed. And I went, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I'll
I'll take that
consider
under
that.
advisement. I'll take
Yeah.
that. Sorry.
You know.
Again, completely off
Come to
topic.
work.
But Safa actually asked a couple of times about monkeypox. Have you had any interaction with the world of monkeypox, as in vaccines or people talking about it or whatever?
There's no vaccine for monkeypox at the moment. Monkeypox is
I thought there was.
it doesn't work.
It's like
They
a
tried-
smallpox vaccine, basically.
It's basically like a smallpox vaccine, and they've tried it out, but it's just not doing trick. And it's it's the gay plague, and it's really prevalent in the United States, and of course, it started fucking when Trump was in, and because he's a Republican and it was a gay plague, they went, oh yeah, we're not going to put any money into that. Okay, I'm gonna say something that's true but controversial. Okay.
Oh, okay. Age is going to be controversial. Everyone hold on to your hats because you've never done that before.
Never done that before. Okay, so when AIDS hit, right?
Mm.
One of the things that no one knew at the time was that circumcised men, because of the fact that they don't have a frenulum holding their intact foreskin together.
Yes.
The frenulum in normal sex gets tiny little micro cuts in it. It's tiny little micro cuts. And it's totally normal. It's a totally normal thing.
Yeah.
But it unfortunately what it is a direct blood transfer. And of course the foreskin itself is a wonderful place to keep viri and bacteria alive, which is why guys clean themselves.
Oh, because you get humid conditions under there and whatnot.
Well, you get human conditions under there.
Yeah.
And this is normal. This is completely normal, right?
Again, yes, it is. Yes.
Okay. So in the 80s, remember Reagan was in, and blacks who injected drugs and gays who were gays basically were he was happy to let them die because people said so many people in America are circumcised. Why did so many people die? And what it was the Americans put fucking no money into research. None. That's bullshit. They put some in, but it was piss weak. And so then the red ribbon movement started, and it was started by gays. And then all of a sudden there was research, and now, thank fuck, AIDS will still kill you. And listen, people think that HIV is not a thing anymore, and people think that AIDS is cured. It's not. It is not cured. And if you get HIV, thankfully, your life is extended years, like years.
There are somewhat effective treatments now, and there are some very fringe cases. Like I think there's like literally 2 or 3 cases in the world where someone's been given a thing and they have been cured of AIDS. Everyone else has just had effective treatments that keep them alive for an extended period.
Really extended period, right? But they always get AIDS after, and they always die. And I had 3 of my friends die in the horrible 80s. And it was awful. They were made to eat off paper plates and plastic.
Oh yeah.
And
no, in the 80s, people didn't understand shit. You died very quickly if you
3 months. They were diagnosed with HIV, and 3 months later they were dead.
Yeah.
One of the guys was disowned by his family, and he died in my arms. What happened was there was 5 of us, and we all promised that we would not share. We would not share ourselves with anyone else. And one of the boys played away, and he spread it to everybody.
AZ, sorry,
yeah.
I'm going to kind of cross you. This is a preemptive thing. It's nothing to do with me. I'm kind of difficult because I'm not going to tell you exactly why now. But I want to shift to a lighter topic.
I understand that.
Yep, and I want to do that now. So, and outside of this forum, I'll explain it to you. Oh, look, Dr. Abigail wants to actually join us, though.
Fantastic.
Even before Dr. Abigail said that, so this is not about you, Dr. Abigail. I literally just wanted to say to AZ for a reason that I will explain to him outside
at another
here.
time. At another time.
Yeah,
and I understand that.
We want to shift to a much lighter thing.
Absolutely.
I just put the link there for you to join us, Dr. Abigail.
I just wanted to share that the Americans had a big problem because they didn't care. And a lot of other countries did care. The Africans, for example, did care. And Australia gave them a lot of drugs for free, which I'm very proud of. And things got better, is what I'm trying to say, is things got better.
Yeah. Things got better. We are better. But I do want to move us completely on. Hello, Dr. Abigail.
Hello, Dr. Abigail. Oh, you were looking so much better than the last time I saw you. I'm really happy about that.
Because Dr. Abigail had the COVID.
You're looking awesome, darling.
I don't feel particularly awesome, but thank you.
And that's okay. We're all here to be positive and supportive.
I've had a good day today. The first time in a long time.
Did you go to PAX?
I went to PAX yesterday. I didn't go today.
Okay. My son and Mrs. Angry's son both went to PAX today. Mrs. Angry's son just went with his friend.
What's
My son
PAX?
had this whole fucking cosplay going on, and young Miss Angry was doing makeup on him, and there was a whole thing. It was like,
Nice.
yeah, okay, he's going to be ready in about an hour. We're doing this whole thing, and
I'm
then
going
I
tomorrow
dropped
though.
I
I'm going.
dropped them off, and then I needed more of my cocktail cherries, so I went to the Bitters Lab, and I got spare jars of cocktail cherries and a few other things. Also, I mentioned this earlier. I think I mentioned this earlier. I got Dubonnet, which was sort of Dead Betty Windsor's favorite thing. She loved having this with gin.
What is
Okay.
it?
It was a funny thing when she died a couple of weeks ago. Apparently, when people read a thing like she loved Dubonnet with gin, and everyone said, "I'm going to have Dubonnet and gin for little Betty Caboodle Schnitzer," and everyone sold out of Dubonnet. And what I think happened is Dan Murphy's went, "Oh God, we sold all our Dubonnet. We need to get heaps more." But the moment passed, and like 2 weeks later, no one gives a shit anymore. And now they've got all this Dubonnet. I wanted this Dan Murphy's. That was like a third off. There was this rack of it just going like, yeah, oh God, we mistakenly bought too much of this stuff. And I thought I would never bother getting Dubonnet, which is like an aperitif wine basing. But it's like, oh, a third off. Me being a fucking discount whore, I'll buy anything that's a third off. But
I was actually going
So,
to point out tight ass.
oh yeah, no,
that's-
I'm a tight ass. I'm not even joking. My entire thing, the weekly menu for this house is dictated by what was on special in the supermarket when I went to the supermarket. I have nothing clear in mind, and I go to the supermarket and went, oh, hey, here's a bunch of shit that's on special. I'm buying that. Here's our food for the next couple of days because this is what was on special in the supermarket.
Fucking boss of the house goes immediately left in Coles to the place where the yellow stickers are on the food. And he gets that. And I laughed one day when he got a salad and he went, I'm so happy this salad is only 39 cents. And as he was walking to the checkout, it exploded.
Yeah. You know why there's stuff on special in the supermarket that's sealed in plastic and it's expanding and it's like a really taut balloon, and you get to the register and it's bulging and they go, ooh, and you go, ignore the fact my food is bulging in its plastic seal. Scan it.
That's like my
Supermarket
life.
I've literally had more than once. I've bought the stuff that was on the 90% off, and they said it won't scan. And it's going, oh, it says it's out of date. And I'm going, I don't care. What's the worst that could happen? 2 days of vomiting and diarrhea?
Yeah. That's
like my
much
light
it.
and easy
Tell
meal.
it to me,
at the back of the
supermarket
fridge.
slave. It's just like,
My light and easy meals at the back of the fridge that I've forgotten about now.
oh yeah, but
they
if
put
it's
it in
frozen,
and now
Nettie,
they're
if
like,
it's been
"Ooh."
yes,
And I'm scared to open them because they stink.
yeah, no.
Well,
If it's not frozen and it's starting to expand into a really taut balloon, you maybe just want to throw that straight in the bin without piercing the membrane, because I fear it's holding a bunch of toxic gases in there.
Yeah.
You see, I need to put it into the biological stuff, the biohazard stuff.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, and I know that we
You
have
know
the
what I
bin
mean?
for the green waste and what, and I want to be responsible.
Fucking full
But
bins here.
if something's turned into toxic waste, I will just throw it in the landfill bin. I'm going, honestly, this scares me now. I kept this in the fridge for too long and I'm frightened of it. And like, while technically it's biodegradable and I should pierce the plastic and put it in the green bin, I fear it will release a toxic gas. And so I'm just throwing it in the landfill bin because it scares me. And it's just,
And it it attracts those weird little flies.
Yeah, the little fruit flies, the little fruit fly
Yeah.
things. I hate that because they just buzz
And then I get
around
stuck
and you
in.
see them like in the corner of your eye, and they're really hard to and they're just super fucking annoying.
Yeah, they're like how mozzies are really fucking annoying to your ears. These little fruit flies are the same thing for your
And
eyes.
they're visual because you see them. The little fruit flies,
Hmm.
you see them. They're this weird little out of focus gray thing that moves around, and it's really hard to get. I hate them. They're very annoying. They're very annoying. And they tend to appear when you've held on to food for too long. Uh, it's a whole thing when you've held on to food for too long. But yeah, more than once, because I always get the stuff that's on special. More than once, I've got to this checkout and they go, "This won't scan," and they went, "Oh, the best before was yesterday," and I'm like, "I don't care, scan it, motherfucker," and they go, "I'm not allowed to." I'm like, "Oh, you weak little bitch." I'm prepared to do. It's like when you get something. It's because when I get the stuff that's on special, I often freeze it. And I thaw it out. And it's thawed out, and I smell it and go, "Okay, honestly, it smells. I don't feel like
He's making
vomiting.
noises.
I feel like AIDS just passed. Oh my god,
I
he
think he's
has. He's
snoring.
passed out. That
He
hasn't
has.
happened for a little while. Honestly, now I feel like the upstanding citizen because everyone was having a fucking go at me for getting fighty on streams because I'd consumed maybe a little bit of alcohol, and the next day I didn't actually remember fighting with people and threatening them. And but AIDS has actually fallen us. He hasn't done that for a little while. AD's
No, he
just
hasn't done that
fallen
for ages.
asleep on the stream. Will we leave him?
Daisy!
Will I preserve his dignity? Because I can take him off the stream. But no, he's gone. He is not lying down, but he
There's
is
no
not.
coming back from this.
Oh no, he'll come back. He'll come back.
Yeah, he
But
does come back.
I could preserve his dignity and take him off the stream.
Just turn his camera off or something.
Yeah, we'll take him off. If he pops up, I'll bring him. But he's lost consciousness again, and that also reminds me. I've got 6 or 7 hard drives of all the video I've shot in the last 16 years on YouTube. I have to remember there's one from 10 or 12 years ago with AIDSy when he was in, from one perspective, better health than he is now, but also you could buy Nurofen Plus in bulk from chemists with no questions asked back then, which he would do because of his chronic pain. I have a bit of video somewhere where I have the camera running and he's talking to me and he's standing up. He's not sitting down like he was there. He's standing up, leaning on his walking stick, and he loses consciousness while he's standing up, but he doesn't fall over. So he is not conscious, but he is upright and leaning on his walking stick. And I'm on the other side of the camera and going, I don't fucking believe this. He's actually lost consciousness, but he's standing up and he's not. I have that on video somewhere on one of my hard drives. If I searched really hard, I could find this thing where I left the camera running, where it's like, fuck me, that guy has literally lost consciousness while standing up. It's fine. I think everyone at some point loses consciousness while sitting down. That's just a thing that happens. But honestly, AIDSy managing to fall asleep while standing up. And he is not conscious, but he's standing up and just leaning on a walking stick. And it's fucking wild.
AIDSy's just put together all different.
No, AIDSy is different from the rest of us, basically.
Yeah, he's put
But
together
that's
completely
okay.
differently. Well,
Dr. Abigail, have you been watching or listening to anything?
No, I've had a friend over.
Yeah, no, you've been with it. I know you've been sharing stuff. You've been with a friend for a while.
Yeah, I had a friend over. She's a Wiccan, and she was doing
yeah.
a cleansing ritual on my apartment.
Oh, that's good.
And
I feel like that's a potential positive for you.
and this is the first time I've been back in my apartment for any length of time,
Yeah, because you've been
for
staying
about
with
a
a friend
week.
for a couple of days. Yeah.
And I bought pizza and I ate a slice, and now I'm full because I haven't been eating.
Yeah.
And now I'm here.
Pizza is a very positive thing, though. That's a good thing. So
Yeah,
Lisa's saying,
it's the first solid food I've had in a while.
all right. I had a friend who used to work in a kitchen. Oh, yeah, no. People
that's
who work in
dangerous.
kitchens often work for too long and fall asleep in things. It's a whole thing. So I'm just making Mimsy come up and say hello because she's sitting on my lap. She's a weird thing. Sorry, we spend a lot of
Hi,
time.
Abigail.
Hey,
You got the black
hey,
cat.
Zorro.
We spend a lot of time in the house now thinking about how Mimsy is about four human years older than most cats live to. So she, in cat years, she is an advanced senior cat. She's very old in biological terms for a cat. She's the equivalent of an 80-year-old human who's actually not in very good physical health because she's all bones. We love you, Mimsy. You're awesome, but you're old and grumpy and falling apart. And I don't know why you're still alive, basically. But you insist on being alive, and we've got some additional medication for you, which may or may not make you better. So that's fine. Stefan, I don't know if you pop your clogs, Mimsy. I don't know if we'll replace you because Mrs. Angry's Mrs. Angry's cat previous to Mimsy, which is like 17 years ago, actually got hit by a car, which is always a bit traumatic when that happens to your cat. Mrs. Angry replaced that cat almost straight away. Replaced that cat with Mimsy. And then I don't know, was it like 3, 4, 5 years after that, we decided to get a second cat, which is where we got Shadow. And Shadow never comes on the streams because she's a fucking weirdo. She's either in the bedroom or outside somewhere. Mimsy's here with me. When I finish the stream, Mimsy will go in the bedroom. I do this, okay, because I put my CPAP machine on. The whole thing, I've got one sort of material thing with Velcro strap, and that's just stop my mouth from opening. So it's like a chin strap under here to keep my mouth closed. Because if I have my mouth open with the CPAP machine on, the air just blows out my mouth. And Mrs. Angry has told me it just sounds like a wind tunnel. It's this huge howling wind. So I got this fucking chin strap thing that's supposed to keep my mouth shut. And then there's the plastic thing that sits onto my nose to blow air up my nose, which is to stop me not breathing when I'm asleep, which is, just a minor thing of ceasing to breathe, which we found out with a sleep study.
That's on the bingo card, right? Talking about the CPAP
me
machine.
talking about my CPAP. Yeah, no. When the sleep study showed, I stopped breathing 36 times an hour. What I love, there has been various people on the stream who, when I mentioned my sleep study, said I stopped breathing 36 times an hour. They're like, we've had a couple people on the stream like, those are rookie numbers. You've got to push those numbers way up, because a couple of people who've been on the streams, I remember Charlie was one who when they had a sleep study, it was like they stopped breathing 70 times an hour. So it's like more than once a minute. Wait, AZ woke. Oh, is he awake? All right, I'm going to put him here. Are you awake, AZ?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, okay.
What?
We were just giving you some privacy because you got non-responsive for a while there.
Were you asking me questions?
No. It's just you literally fell asleep for a while there. So we were just
I
giving
do
you
that. I do that all the time.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. We were
I
just
had
giving you some privacy.
I had a seizure yesterday, and today okay. Let me go through this. Monday, which is yesterday. No,
Friday was okay. We are now having a problem that you think Monday was yesterday, but
Friday was yesterday, and Friday was the day I was supposed to get the dressings changed on my manky legs.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
It
so
hurts.
thing I haven't asked you about that for a while, but
Okay, it hurts a lot. Okay.
it hurts a lot. Okay.
I am not given any painkillers because I'm on the list.
Because you're not meant to have the droogs.
No. I'm not given locals because I'm on the list. You'd think locals. No locals. So what I've got to do is I've got to take the dressings off, then have a shower, then scrape the skin gently, then moisturize the skin. Then I've got to put enough dressings on to get to the place, and then they take them off again, which hurts. Then they scrape the skin with a sort of a plastic moon, and that hurts. And then I have to put new dressings on with sponges, which are awesome, but weird. If you 10 years ago, as a doctor, said, what we're going to do is put a sponge on this wound, you would be laughed out of the room. But they're actually really fucking good. At
Plastic moon, is it because it's rough and made of stone?
There you go.
Even though it's plastic?
You know,
like a sphere that's rough. Like I would have thought something a bit flatter would be better.
Right. And so they put the new one on, and that hurts a lot because they've also put another thing on in the wound. Anyway, the nurse wasn't there, so I had to go home and that hurts a lot. And I had to do the whole process myself at home. And so I spent 3 hours in pain going to do the thing. And then I spent 2 hours, because it takes a long time when you're doing it yourself. You need 3 hands on a broom stuck up your bum. And it took 2 hours to do. And it fucking hurts. And so I got it done, and I was happy with my work. And the thing that hurts the most is once you've got all the very expensive dressings on. When you buy these dressings, it costs $850 to buy this stuff. And I have twice now budgeted really well to buy this stuff. And I have got on top of it, so I'm really happy about that. But it kind of leaves you a little bit leaves you a little bit short. And but they're really good. Okay, now when we started this process, I had no skin on my legs. Okay, I just had a membrane that you could see my muscles through, which is and dogs would come up going, "This is fresh, and there is a name for your leg ailment." Yes, It's called insufficient veins. What happens is your veins aren't working, the varicose veins, and your leg swells up. As your leg swells up, your pores close. I thought they opened, but they don't. They close up, and the fluid can't get back up to upstairs, and it finds the weak points in your skin and blows a hole out to leak out, and your skin is wet all the time, and the skin basically rots off your leg, which is delightful. But then these new dressings are fucking awesome because they absorb a lot of fluid and gives your skin a chance to heal, and it does a really good job. But unfortunately, this week I went backwards, and the wounds opened again, and it hurt a lot. And I thought, I won't take my I took my anti-seizure stuff, right? But I thought, I won't take my calm down pills because it's not, it's not a thing that is gonna be, hardcore. I was doing the washing up, and I started seeing the Aztec writing, and I went, okay, here we go. And fucking hit the floor. And blood nose. And I was really worried that I'd broken my plastic teeth. But I didn't. All I'd done was cut my lip. So that was bleeding. And and I scraped my elbow, right? I was really lucky, actually, and I was hitting my head a lot, so I've got an egg on my head, a googie egg on my head. And I was in the middle of this, and boss of the house just walked in for a visit and went, seizure, and held my head, which was lovely. And I wake up and go, oh, that was fucked. And he's gone, what's going on, man? And I went, oh, well, this happened and that happened and blah, blah, blah. And so today I've been sort of in and out of consciousness. Sort of today I've had spoons, then no spoons, then spoons, then no spoons, then spoons, and then no spoons. And it's a weird phenomenon. And I've talked to other epileptics about it, and they say after you have a fit, you're just wasted, you're just beat, you're just totally exhausted, and then all of a sudden you perk up and go, yeah, I could run a marathon and then root 5 lions, and then you just sag again, and then you perk up, and it's like, I'm on the live stream, and yeah, I'm doing the nod because yesterday I was basically doing the shaky dance. And the trouble with the shaky dance is that you don't know whether to call an ambulance or throw them in the bath and put your washing in. And it gets like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry if I vague out. And the other thing too is I start to get aphasic, so I'll start to say words that make no sense in a sentence. Like I'll start saying things like fish temper, green, 1, tiny, and the movie goes along the lines of growl, and that's basically just aphasic stuff, because in my head I'm saying stuff that makes sense, but everyone goes, what are you saying? What are you saying, Azzy? And I just sort of snap out of it and go, yeah, that was a thing. It was a lot. That was a avant-garde joke. And people either just go and they go, oh, right, okay, cool. Or they just go, yeah, that's bullshit. Unfortunately, a lot more people go, that's bullshit.
I
So
didn't know
there you
you
go.
had epilepsy. When did that come about? When did that at least get found out?
When I got arthritis, they gave me a drug called tramadol. And one of the side effects of tramadol is it can lower your seizure threshold. And I was taking this stuff and I had my first ever fit in front of my friend. And he did just a wonderful job of helping me out because I apparently was saying D a lot and shaking my arms. And then I nosedived into the fridge and he's going, this guy is going through full on seizure. And the first thing he did was go to the front table and find a letter. And I went, what the fuck? And he said, I had to tell the ambulance which address to go to. And I just thought, that's fucking genius. I would never have thought to do that.
No, I wouldn't have
And-
thought of that either.
And he
Because
just,
I remember one time when, okay, why not? When I had a sesh with my best friend, and we were down at the local hamburger store and just like not coping with it. We were like 17, 18, and just not coping.
Yeah.
But coping, but not coping.
Yeah.
Anyway, she ordered a hamburger, and then she was standing there, and then suddenly she started shaking, and then all of a sudden she's on the ground and shaking, and I'm like, what the
what
fuck
the
is
fuck
this?
do I do? And what
And
you
I
do
just
is
zoned out of my mind.
you hold their head. That's all you do is you hold their
I
head so
wish
they
I knew.
don't bang it. That's all you do
But
is
then
you
it
hold
was
their head
over.
so they don't bang their head on the ground.
Yeah.
And you wait till it's finished, and it will finish, and it doesn't take long.
Yeah, she was over it within a minute, easily.
And they always wake up going, I'm looking at the roof, because it literally is lights on, lights off, lights on, and you go, I'm feeling groggy, and I'm looking at an ambulance driver. And I remember the first time this happened, I was sitting in a chair, and I woke up and I was looking at this ambulance driver, and she said, are you with us now? And I said, I am, and you happen to be really hot. And this guy laughed, and I said, oh no, you're not out of this either, because you're hot too. And I'm really hot, but that's just temperature. And they said, you've had a seizure. Do you want to go to hospital? And I'm going, I've actually got some things to do in the office. I'll go and do that. My friend, who knew me very, very well, understood that my reaction to things was to escape. And I do this all the time. When I'm feeling, when I'm fucked up, I escape. I tried to do it in hospital when I had surgery. I actually did escape from hospital once when I was having surgery. It's fantastic. They gave me the initial drug, and this poor nurse looked away from me for a second, and I was up and out of there. And as I was wandering around the hospital, I was just going, hey, how you doing, to people. And it just so happened that I was walking and there was a lift, and it opened and shut just as the nurses and doctors were trying to chase after me. And down it went to the ground, open. I go straight out the door. There's a taxi waiting. I jump in the taxi and say, I need to get a packet of smokes from the 7-Eleven, and then I need to go to my house where I can pay you. and I guarantee I can pay you. So we should do that. And the taxi driver says, yeah, okay, man, we'll do that. I have to make a phone call. Do you mind terribly? And I said, no, it's cool. And he makes his phone call and we drive. And bizarrely enough, he takes a strange route, which takes us around the block and back to the hospital and into the ambulance bay where the doctors are waiting with a needle going, would you like some more drugs? Yes, I really would. That's a good thing. And so they shot me up a bit more and they took me back up to the surgery room and made sure someone was looking at me the whole time. So usually when I go to hospital, I get put in the observation ward and I get checked on a lot. And depending on what drugs I'm on, they section me and tie me up. I was on ketamine and did some bad things, bad things, and
Really?
to myself.
Because I reckon I think I had ketamine once at the big day out in Orange Pills.
Right.
Yeah. And I basically became my boots.
Yeah. You can
Through
fall
the
down.
crowd.
You can fall down the K-hole really easily. And what
Yeah.
I wanted was water because I hadn't had any water for 12 hours. And I was a passenger inside my own brain. And my brain said, okay, the nurse is gone. She's not going to be back for 19 minutes. What we're going to do is take these nail clippers and cut ourselves out of all the wires and tubes that are in you. And we're going to go and get some water. And I went, should we be doing this? And my in control brain said, well, you failed for 12 hours and we're thirsty, so we're doing it. And I managed to do it. And then I went to the bathroom and drank about 3 liters of water, which was just glorious. And then I decided it was smoko. So I was going out the door and I managed to get to the other ward before a nurse noticed that I was not kosher.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what she noticed because it was bad. Okay.
I know what she noticed. I heard that story.
And basically I've had people faint when I tell that story, so I'm not going to tell that story. And she sort of said, yeah, do you want to come back with me? And she took me back to the plastics ward. Plastics ward was very unhappy with me. They said, go into the corner and wait because you're very suggestible on ketamine. And so I actually moved a bed and chairs out of the way so I could go into the corner. And they said, okay, he's fucked. And then they cleaned up my bed because I'd shit in it, which was not a good thing. And they put me back together again. And this poor student doctor had to do it. And he was at the end of a 48-hour shift, which they do to them to get them used to working hard. And he had to do an extra 6 hours to put me back together. And this poor bastard's sewing me and he's like nodding off as he's doing it, but he did a great job. And then they called my mother and my wife and they said, yeah, okay, so a bad thing happened. He was supposed to be asleep and he got out using a pair of nail clippers. And my mum said, well, for fuck's sake, everyone knows he's a drug pig. Why didn't you take that into a fucking account? You know, and this is what my mum.
Life is a bad thing happened.
This is my mum, right? You know, the righteous, upstanding woman, like going, Everyone knows he's a fucking drug pig. Of course he was going to do something like that.
Yeah, you should have strapped him down to the bed so he couldn't go anywhere.
Well, the thing is that they said, can we section him? Like, can we section 8 him and tie him up? And she said, and my wife said, fuck yes, tie him up.
Yeah.
And my mum said, oh yeah, absolutely. And they moved me into the observation ward and tied me up. And I was tied up for a week. And I was given 2 more ketamine shots, and then there was a yellow sticker on
How
my
was
files.
it being sectioned? What was it like?
Well, it was kind of weird because I met my surgeons who were telling me what the operation was like, and I said, I'm at a social disadvantage here because I am tied up, but I thank you for your fine work in keeping me alive. And they said, we put your testes in your legs to save them. I said, that's really nice, thank you. Where are they? And this guy went, well, one's there, and poked it, and I went, ah. And he said, the other one's there, and poked it, and I went, yeah. And I went, okay, I know where they are now. And he said, you'll have to be careful of that. And the surgeon was talking. I said, do you have a brother who works in sound? Because you are the spitting image of him. And they all laughed because they thought I was just going, all Asians look the same. But he was the spitting image of a sound tech that I know. And anyway, so the surgeons told me stuff, and they told me that a debridement wasn't a shave, because I said, how much of my scrotum is left? And they said, none. We cut it off. And I went, oh, I thought a debridement was just a shave.
No.
And they went, no, a debridement is a complete removal. And I went, oh.
But to be fair, they did eventually cut off a bit of skin from another bit of your body, so you had the smooth scrot, as opposed to the walnut scrot that most men have. Also,
well-
I'm going to bed. Sorry, I know you're on a stream, but I'm going to bed. I let you run. I was literally stacking a dishwasher because the dishes had gotten out of control over here. So I was just emptying the dishwasher and then restacking it and resetting it so I could go to bed and then maybe do some more in the morning. I am definitely going to go to bed now. I am probably going to do a Sunday night stream for an hour or maybe even 2, but I feel like you want to round the story out, AZ.
Yeah, in 15 seconds, I'm going to finish. I promise.
Do it. Do it.
They said, okay, we're plastic surgeons, not cosmetic surgeons. You're not going to have a pretty result. You're just going to have an effective result. And I said, guys, it's a scrotum. How pretty can it be? And that was it. They laughed and went, okay, you're on board. Sweet.
It's
Yeah, come on. You know, for fuck's sake. You know, what do we want? You know, and they did a marvelous job. I was really impressed. They kept me alive, and then they gave me a fresh scrot.
Yeah, it was a triumph of surgery, basically.
It fucking was. I had a less than 2% chance of living the first night, and I did. And then I had a 15% chance of living through the other surgery, and I did. And I said to the surgeons, I feel kind of bad because you spent $2.5 million keeping me alive, and at the end of the day, you've really just got an unemployed comedian for your money. Is that, you know, taxpayer value? And they said, well, we keep everyone alive because that's a thing. Because you might be the father to the next.
Again, people who want the detailed version of this should go and watch Code Grey, particularly the speech about the sons and daughters of Bogans.
Yeah, and and the other thing was they said students.
Bye, Abigail.
Bye, Abigail.
Abigail.
And they basically said, the students
Yeah. No,
got
experience.
experience.
You were a once in a lifetime teaching experience, not just for students, but professorial level surgeons and whatnot. You were a teaching experience that they literally couldn't buy. I still love the line that someone accidentally said in front of you. Yeah, normally we only see this post-mortem. And
Fucking hell.
I
Yeah.
want to write your
they
biography.
weren't meant to say that within your hearing, that normally anyone who has these symptoms is dead.
It's like, normally we only get to see the post-mortem slides. This is great. I'm going, fuck.
Yeah.
And the other one that freaked me out was this woman came in and said, "Oh, can I do the catheter? Because that'll be 5 and I'll be qualified." No.
But I even literally had that for a mild thing. And there's a YouTube video about this when I got hit in the head with a discus, and a doctor's trying to say to nurses, "Do you want to do your practice stitching on this guy's head?" And it's like, I actually appreciate, obviously, everyone, whether they be nurse, doctor, surgeon, they all have to do something for the first time.
Exactly.
But,
exactly.
But with this doctor was saying it when I was conscious and 16 years old. Have you ever done this? Do you want to try it out on this guy? And I freaked out. And the nurses, because nurses are almost always more receptive to this than doctors, the nurse picked that I was freaking out, and the nurse went, "No, you can do it this time. Nudge wink, next time, don't say it to a conscious patient. You've never done this. Do you want to do it on this person?" And it's just like, okay, everyone has to do it for the first time, but you don't have to tell the patient you're letting someone do it for the first time on them.
Exactly. Exactly. Jesus. And fucking there's ways and means. I had bits and pieces done to me, and one of the nurses kept all of the tools behind my head, so I didn't see them. And some of those tools were quite frightening. And she would grab the tool.
But for fucking real, I've had multiple surgeries on my ear since I was a kid. And once when I was about 16, they wheeled me in, and they wheeled me into the actual theater before I was completely out. They only had me on pre-med, so I was kind of tripping balls but conscious. And I looked over and I saw the tray of the fucking tools they were going, and it looked like a fucking shelf at Bunnings. It was saws and chisels. They were all surgical steel, but they were fucking saws. And I was like, why the fuck did you bring me in here conscious that you are going to use all this shit on my skull as soon as you... No, you should have put me... I don't want to see that. I don't want to know what you're using on me. What the fuck? And again, it's because doctors and surgeons don't understand people. Nurses tend to understand people. Anyway, going to go to bed. Going to switch off the stream. Going to go to bed. Might be like, if anyone wants to join for Sunday night, 8 o'clock, might be live for an hour or two on Sunday night. We'll see how that goes. But you'll take care. See you in